Let me unmute myself and then make sure I don't forget to do this time. I'm unmuted. You guys are unmuted, so we're good. Welcome everybody to Friends with Backlog. We are a show that discusses games that we've played that have probably been out for decades, but we decided to go back and play them anyways and talk about them on a show when it's not completely relevant because it's fun for us to have the conversation. That's a good intro, right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I now want to go back and play a game. It's like, I've been wanting to play this since 1978, and now I found the time. Games before I was born. I was born with a backlog.
Yeah. But just real quick, today is September 2nd. My name is Frosty, or Mark, and I have with me Brian or Orpheon, and then Nick.
Whichever.
Or Cammy, whichever. We just decided because we're all friends outside of this, and we actually see each other and touch each other every once in a while outside of pandemics. And so we're very used to saying first name basis. It's very difficult to get off of that.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I happened to look at a previous episode, and I saw someone comment that they were so surprised they've been listening to you for years, and that they actually just figured out your real name.
Yeah.
But it reminded me, because we all met, well, not all of us, but we met through WoW. And then even when we hung out in person years later, we all referred to each other in our handle names.
Yeah.
And it occasionally used your first name, which became really weird for the people who were the non-gamers who were just like, wait, what did you just call him? And they were straight really confused. But then it took a few years. And I noticed we never refer to each other by our handles in person anymore. And it feels more unnatural, where we did it for a long time.
So that's not true for me, really. So Mark, you're in my phone as Royvis.
Okay, fair.
And Andrea, when I went to go visit her in Florida, I accidentally called her Tia, and both of her girls were like, "Oh my god, what just happened?" And they started exchanging looks at each other. I was like, "What?" And they said, "You called mom Tia."
Yeah, Tia. Isn't it like aunt? Isn't Tia aunt?
Is it aunt in some language?
Tia. Yeah.
Like Vietnamese or something?
No.
Or Polish?
No, like
or
Spanish.
Scandinavian? Spanish? Oh, Spanish.
Yeah.
More local. Okay.
Yeah. And so, that can be kind of weird for you to call her aunt. Yeah. So I'm not wrong.
They're not Spanish speakers, so I don't think it was...
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it was that he just had a kind of pet nickname for someone who came in. They were like, what is this?
Well, they knew their mom played WoW under the name Tia.
Did they?
Because they were... Yeah, they were all in.
Oh, well, I mean, they played it a little bit, but I didn't know if they actually knew what her name was or were coherent about the whole situation.
But she also has a different name for every game. She's not just Tia.
That's fair. But her kids would know it. It's knew me as Cammy for the longest time.
That's fair.
Okay, yeah. I think they've forgotten who I am by now too. Or who I was. Every time they see me, it's just I don't know what that is with kids. They just don't remember anything after 2 months. They forget people exist.
Well, they completely remember, or they'll remember it forever.
Oh, okay.
It's there's no middle ground. I have a vague recollection of you. It's either they perfectly remember you or you've never existed.
Mark, I think it's just your face. I think it's just not.
I'm forgettable. Yeah, I'm forgettable as fuck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It happens with Jeff's kids all the time. They just they don't know. They're like, who is this? I mean, to be fair, I don't have a very active see them every day thing. It's always a party happens and I'm over there, right? Once every couple times a year. I don't know. But I don't know. It always made me feel a little bit bad. Huh?
Those kids will troll you too. Even if they do know you, they might pretend they don't know you.
I don't believe that's
just
true.
That is 100% true. Because I will still get trolled. What's your name? I was like, come on, and then they'll laugh, and you're like, it is 100%. It can be a troll.
Maybe they're just playing it off. They're yeah, troll. Yeah, I know your name. Maybe. Anyways, what was I saying before all this? We were talking about username. Oh yeah. So I there are people in the Final Fantasy 14 community that I went out with and just went to the grocery store. They were in Phoenix. They live in Phoenix. And I said hi to them.
So you guys for a hangout date, you guys went to the grocery store?
To the grocery store
Hey guys, let's all meet up and go to the grocery store.
So let me make it sound a little bit better. We all went and we're like, I'd be really excited to go to this Asian market. And so it's like, okay, sure, there's an Asian market over there. Yeah. And so we went to the Asian market. We did other things. It was
which one?
It was I forget.
Was it the one in Mesa or Chandler?
I can't remember. Dude. Wow. It was a long time ago.
If I was those fellow Final Fantasy gamers, I would be offended you don't even remember where the location of your shopping date was.
Well, the important part of the story, Brian, was we were there, and his wife came up, and she was like, "Oh, what's your name?" And I said, "Mark." And then they both, like, the people who knew me were like, "Ugh," like, just like, no, no, I don't want to. That's not. It's
like if you said your name was Karen.
Yeah,
ugh, Karen. I didn't think you were a Karen.
Yeah. So it was. Most people just. They're very comfortable with me with Frosty, and so it's weird to say because they don't imagine, oh, what is Frosty's name? It's just Frosty, right? And then you attach a regular dude's name to it. It's like,
absolutely.
Anyways,
I need to take a shower. Mark, so gross.
Yeah, so the worst name I've been around a Mark. But that being said. I think that's a good intro. We'll start using that one now that we're just people playing unrelevant games, and that's what it is, and we talk about it. But I like it. By the way, Cheryl really loves Ghost, and she's still playing it right now. She's spent a lot of time into it, so I'm happy she finally got into it.
I'm glad she likes it a lot. That's nice.
Yeah, so she usually like finds a game. And either she'll get bored of it immediately or play it nonstop. It's either or. There's no like in between. And so she decided this is going to be a nonstop one, which I'm fine with. I think it's good.
So she's on her way to. She's going to platinum it. Is what you're saying?
She might. I don't know.
Is there a game that she got like hardcore into that you just didn't understand why?
No, I mean I understand. I mean I just don't. Some of them I don't get into as much, but I mean she used to play MapleStory back in the day, and I tried to play it, and I hated it.
I think I gave MapleStory 20 minutes. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, no, not for me. 20 minutes is probably being really generous to make me sound like I gave it more than 5. No, I was like, oh yeah, we're good. No, we're good. You do you, MapleStory. You just do you.
Yeah. But I mean. I think she has pretty good taste in games, I think, for the most part. So, I mean, I don't know. She just doesn't play them as much as I do, so I don't get the experience her playing them. She plays Zelda. She loves Zelda. I played... she likes games like Animal Crossing. She liked that. But I mean, I played it too. I can't be upset about that, and other whatever. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going with all that. I just wanted to say that she was interested in Ghost, and I thought it was cool that she got into it as well. That being said, we're done with that game, and we spent 3 episodes talking about Ghost. We're going to talk about a different game today.
Oh, come on now. We're going to spend the rest of the year talking about Last of Us 2.
Oh, yeah. No, we had to jump back. You're right. See Last of Us 2. Brian, are you over that yet? Are you over that point of where you have to compare every game to Last of Us 2 and it's just like, doesn't feel... No. Okay.
Nah, it's still cresting.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes and no. It's just... Yeah, I think I might be a little bit over it. It's easier to compare games for what they are and not the way that certain things are structured compared to big feelings you get with other games. Right. I mean, you still notice level design. That's hard to ignore, because just Naughty Dog in general's level design. I really like their design philosophy, the way they do it, especially going back and playing like the old Uncharted recently. You're like, oh shit, they've always been doing this. This is not just like the one game where they put it all together and then just crushed it. But yeah, no, I think we can. But no, it's still peaking.
Okay,
I can't lie. It's still peaking. Yeah.
Okay. Before the show started, we were talking about how Nick, or Cammy, decided to be a little bit more professional and have a nice, really good green screen. My green screen is not going to look anything like that, by the way, because mine has like green outline around my head and everything. Like you can tell, there's like a little outline of green. Yours has none. It is like perfect.
Yeah, I have 2 gigantic lights that are aimed at me right now to reduce all shadows too.
Okay, maybe that's what I need to do. I have one gigantic light. Maybe I need to get a second one or something. Because
Yep.
that's sharp. That is really sharp.
You're supposed to have 4 lights. You're supposed to have 2 aimed at you and 2 aimed directly at the green screen to
Yeah,
just
you have to eliminate all
every single
shadows.
shadow from everywhere.
Hmm.
Because I actually have another small light in the corner. If I turn that off, then over here it's like kind of fuzzy and weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe
We worked on it like on Sunday or Saturday or something like that. That's all we did was work on. Hey, can you see this? What does this look like?
Nice. Did you do that for just this show?
I think it was inspired by the show, but also what really motivated me is I had a work call, and it was my first work call with like all my teammates,
Mm-hmm.
and someone had like this brick background, and it looked really cool, and my background had like all these toys and stuff on it, and I'm like, I work with a bunch of like vets who are like pretty old, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know they're
Not
gonna be like,
so you're saying not exactly nerds.
no, and I know I don't want anybody to judge me. So what I'm gonna do is next time we have like a team meeting, I'm gonna have like fighter jets and flying across the screen the whole time.
Like the Blue Angel stuff going across the back.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Play to your crowd, that's for sure.
I'm sure they'd
No,
love
it's
it.
nice. Yeah.
Okay. But for this show, you decided Nier, because that's the game we've been playing. That I didn't expect you to actually play. I thought when I mentioned it before, I thought you guys would be like, well, all right, cool, and let's try this other thing and just go past it. But you guys seem to be actually taking a liking to it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. This game is, I think, what I've been looking for a little bit.
Really?
Like, yeah, about
Since
like
Last
an
of
hour
Us?
into it.
Since Last of Us.
You know, honestly, what have I played since Last of Us?
You played
You
Short
played-
Hike.
You played a couple games that were real, a couple games that sounded fake.
Yes.
So I played some puzzlers and things like that. And I've also played Hollow Knight, and I finished out Celeste. But
Before
I think
before we
go
talk
ahead.
about it, I just want to make sure, how far are you guys in the game? Because I don't want to discuss too far into it.
so last night I was up pretty late last night.
Okay.
Nice. You're up to like
well,
9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was up
9:30?
just because I was having a rough time sleeping. But
Oh, okay.
I got
Because you're playing a game. It's hard to fall asleep while you're like actively playing a game. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, like it used to. You remember?
I'm just playing a game and I don't know why it's so hard to go and sleep.
You used to say, "Oh yeah, I have like I'm so tired. I only got 3 hours of sleep last night." You're like, "Wow, you're just having trouble sleeping?" Yeah, I don't know why. And then it's
Couldn't
because you're
fall
playing
asleep.
video
I was
games
playing
all night.
Nier all night long and I just couldn't fall asleep. I don't know that's how that works.
I know I sidetracked a little bit, but I had this niece who would steal her take her tablet and go in the closet and play Minecraft all night and Roblox all night, and then like put it back and pretend like nothing had happened and try to play it off for a while. And she eventually got in trouble, but she like wouldn't sleep. She just wanted to play Minecraft and Roblox. I finished ending A and I started the next one.
Okay. So you're where I'm at basically. I haven't progressed further than like a little bit into that second, past the first ending, which next week hopefully after Mog Talk's done this weekend, I'm just gonna pound it out and play the rest of it through. So you'll probably be done with the game, I think, by the next show.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking I'll try it, but I'm kind of thinking I want to attempt to platinum it.
Yeah, I'm not going to platinum. I'm not. I'm not sadistic. Brian,
No.
how far are you in it right now?
Oh, okay. So I think I'm about 80% of the way through the first playthrough.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
all right. The game
I had expected to be done by now, but certain things just kind of a couple days took up too much time in life.
I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Unfortunately.
Go ahead.
But they just unexpected things came up, and I was like, shit, they ruined my whole night. Crap. All right, Nier, tomorrow we have a date.
I was talking to Cheryl about this a little bit, and just basically since doing the show, I've been encouraged to actually force myself into a lot of single player games that I would have put off normally, because I want to play them, but the idea of playing them is great. But once you start getting into it, you get distracted by something else. But if I feel like I'm playing it with other people and I have something I need to talk about it later, it makes sense for me to play through it and finish it. And I'm happy when I'm done playing it. I'm happy I had the experience, but I have more motivation to continue on because I have kind of like it's like studying for a test almost. You're like. Maybe I should do something and make it not so painful when it comes around.
It's like someone forcing you to go to the gym. You're like, I don't want to go, and then you go, and then you work out, and you leave, and you're like, well, that was great. I should do this every day. And then tomorrow comes, you're like, I don't want to go, and you're like, I've never not had a great experience when I leave the gym. Yeah. I wish I could convince myself going into it. I know I'm going to feel that going out.
Exactly. Yeah. And so this is what it's doing for single player games, which is what I wanted to do before we even talked about this show. I was planning to do a non-Final Fantasy 14 podcast where we just discussed everything else besides Final Fantasy 14 in the video game world, and it would probably be aimed at more single-player games and stuff because I love... It's like, Brian, you love books more than most people I know, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, right?
Well,
So I relate single player games a little bit to books in a way because it's like a story that you go through and you experience and enjoy it, and so that's kind of my book reading, and I feel like I haven't been able to do it, and this is helping me do it. So I just want to say thank you guys for actually wanting to do this with me.
No, Mark, thank you.
Anyways, okay, so you're close to the end, Brian. So there's not too much we can spoil for you besides what happens at the end. So I guess if we avoid that,
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about spoilers. Don't.
Oh, have you already read enough about it?
No. I know a little bit. Uh-huh. Well, actually, that's not true. I know enough that I can't have the first 2 playthroughs aren't going to be spoiled for me.
Okay.
I don't really know about the 3rd playthrough, but I'm not really a spoiler guy for the most part, because I will always believe the old adage. A good story, if you tell me if you tell me the beginning, middle, and end, a good story is still a good story, even if you know it or not. Kind of doesn't matter. Now there are certain things I don't want to know anything about, but in certain games, this is not as deeply narrative driven as a lot of games. It's so I'm not.
There's a lot of stuff in this game. Even if someone explained to you what was going on and everything, going through and playing it, you would still get a lot out of it because those little interactions can't be detailed out in that conversation about explaining what the story is. There's so many little things in there that no one would have told you because it's too much to tell you.
And it is also at the same time a classic Square story that it's overly grand and overly complicated in a sort of really fucking confusing way where you're like, did they cut sections of this story out? And then you're like, I'll let you figure out the gaps. And you're like, yep. Yeah, it's classic
It's overly
Square.
grand. It's overly grand, but I feel like it's small. It's like the world that you're able to interact with is kind of tiny. Well, and I didn't really expect that out of a game like this. I mean, there's a lot you can run for a while and point to point. But comparatively to like a Final Fantasy game,
the world doesn't
explore the entire world. You explore this like city and a little bit outside of the city, and that's it. That's
got a forest and there's a desert. I don't know. Is there a ice area? Because there's
a whole ocean that you fly over.
There's
there's stuff.
I was like, we're just gonna hit.
There's a space
trains.
station. Come on. I mean, there's lots of places. No, I do agree. I do agree that like it doesn't feel like a world. It feels like an area. It does. Yeah. But I mean, there's enough in there that still makes it a good game, I think.
For sure.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to do in this game. Way more than I thought. I actually didn't expect so many side quests, and I'm hoping on the second playthrough. I read that there weren't any missable trophies, or really there's only like 1 or 2, but I'm really hoping that I can go back on my second run and do a lot of these side quests I just didn't do. 'Cause I did a bunch and I got distracted, and then I just went through the storyline because I was interested in it. And restarting the game, like you have some things, like you have your stuff, but your side quests aren't opened yet because you're actually going through the story again.
Didn't you read, Nick, that once you beat the game, so there's 2 things that happen when you beat the game. It from my understanding, it unlocks everything, so you can kind of go chapter select. So some of the random endings you can get, like the one where you eat like the mushroom or the poison. Yeah, just test the mushroom, dead, game over.
It was a fish, I think,
ending.
right?
Yeah, the fish one. So you can do that. But if you've missed that, once you beat the game, you can kind of go back and do that. But didn't you say you could? It's like the only game where you can go back and buy trophies. Like
So
once
yeah,
you're done.
There was something that I read when I was looking at missable trophies. Is someone commented on a trophy store, and I think that you can use money to buy trophies if you've missed
In-game
them.
money, right? Not
In-game,
cold hard cash.
like Gil or whatever.
Right, right.
Bolts was what you picked up.
I didn't know you could actually do that. That seems kind of pointless to me, to be honest with you. I don't know why they would want to do that.
So I don't know if that's true, but if it is, I would imagine it would be for like a lot of money each trophy, and also it might be kind of. You mentioned that the creator could be a little trolly.
Absolutely,
and I could see the creator being like, "Who cares about trophies? If you really want it that bad, just grind it and just buy them." maybe they don't care about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, possible. Have you guys read anything about the director or know anything about him, Yoko Taro?
No. The only thing I know is you said he's a troll and he likes butts.
He does. Those are the things.
That's what I know. Yeah, and after my almost first playthrough, I agree. I think those are all
very
valid points.
The other thing is, have you ever seen pictures of a guy with a moon head?
Yeah,
that's Yoko Taro.
Oh,
okay.
That's him. Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't show his face really. He always goes into interviews with that head on.
So he wants to be like Deadmau5, but
sort of
video game creator style.
I think so. Yeah. There was one comment, you can, but the option is there. I don't think people actually enjoy the game do it, but it's not expensive with the trophy buying.
So that leads more to like what I was saying though. I bet you the director's just like, who the fuck cares? If you want these trophies, get them. But it's not about that. Play the game. Have a good time playing the game.
Yeah. I think that would actually be true because that does sound like his personality. But you know what's funny? Every time I talk about this game and I say but, it instantly makes me think I'm talking about this. It makes me laugh a little bit because the game has so much work put into the butts of the game, and so it's hard to have a full sentence without laughing. But I think that I remember enjoying this game a lot. I also remember the story being just like evolving and just not really making sense to me a lot with what was going on because it's just going so fast. And I was like, it'll probably put itself together later. And I think that's what it does. Is it puts itself together a little bit more less hectic when you do the other playthroughs. Like it makes sense because you're putting all the pieces back together. Because there's a lot of stuff that just weird.
Yeah, just doing the beginning of the second playthrough, you can see where just the very beginning starts to fit in like just a few holes in the storyline that some of them I didn't know were there, and I didn't care. Some of them I was a little curious on, but already, just going from another perspective that's with her almost the whole time, it's still kind of interesting.
Yeah,
and then I imagine like we'll learn more about what 2A and things. Just comes in out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, okay, who are you?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff you can learn just by talking to the NPCs too. If you have the time to go talk to all of them, they all give you this information, and it's pretty interactive. And your choices do. I think I remember your choices making things matter later. I can't remember that though. I don't really remember. Like what you say to people and what you do. Sometimes matters and it will affect the game in some way, but I can't. It's been a long time, man. The only reason I played this game before is because they introduced the crossover with Final Fantasy 14, and since they're adding that story in there, I felt like it was important to play this game so I would understand whatever they're implementing it story-wise into Final Fantasy 14. But it doesn't really matter. They're kind of separate, but you can still see it. You can see elements from the game in there.
You could definitely import this into it. This is, like Brian said, this is a Square Enix game.
Yeah, it is.
Hardcore.
Yeah, it is.
All those themes are here.
So I speaking of the storyline, but I think you reached an interesting point, which historically, so especially beating a game recently, like Resident Evil 2, where they want you to play the game again with the other character, but it's like 99% the same damn game. But where the first playthrough is, because the plot is not, it's a fast moving plot that doesn't cover details, right? So the first plot is just the big strokes, like the outline of the plot, and then the second playthrough is all the details, filling everything in. Because right? There was some war, right? Aliens landed, they made robots, we lost the war, we ended up on the moon. I was like, I think if they made it here, we probably could have made it to the moon. I don't know how we have this advanced stuff and survived on the moon. A lot of questions about how we get materials to have these mechs empowered from the moon. I'm just very fascinated by that. Yeah. But let's ignore all that. And then you start finding out, obviously, the elements of the cracking, that maybe the human command system is not nearly as good as you think it is, even though you're not really sure. Like you're playing on their side, but at some point I'm at the point too at the end of one, we start questioning, like, wait, are we the bad guys? Because right now we're the bad guys, like, for sure. I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, they put all those kind of questions in there. I agree.
Yeah. And then I already know that the third playthrough, which is that other character, is then where the first and 2 points will meet, and then the third playthrough ends there, and then then the story keeps continuing. So, and that's right, because there was that debate, right? So when I played, she was like, should I play it a second time? You're like, well, you kind of have to. It's not just a bullshit excuse for you to play the game again, create extra play time to create a, quote, deeper game that's not really there. But you kind of have to. Like, if you do just the first playthrough and say you beat the game, it's kind of cheating, I mean, I think even calling it a playthrough doesn't even seem fair. It should almost be called like act 1, act 2, and then act 3.
Yeah, it's weird that it shows you credits and it says, hey, if you want to continue playing to have a good time, play it again with these other characters as they come up. And when I first thought about when I saw the story continue, I thought, you have to do this. You shouldn't get a choice. If you want to actually play the game, you need to play it multiple times.
It's like Last of Us. When you do the playthrough, and then the halfway part where they're like, would you like to keep playing? You're like, no, I'm good. I think I beat the game. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You absolutely did not beat the game.
Yeah. No, yeah. Actually, if you compare it to Last of Us, I would say, Ellie was playthrough A, then Abby was playthrough B, right, and then C was just the end, the part after all that came together.
And the C was pain.
Yeah. So I think this game, that's what made a lot of people maybe not like it when it first came out, because they didn't understand that. They were like, okay, I beat the game, why the hell would I want to play it again? I only play games once and I'm done. I don't need to do all the extra stuff. It seemed kind of boring to bland kind of story to me, basic whatever. And then they quit, and then they don't think much of the game. But if you do quit, you literally miss out on the game. When I was explaining this to you before, I mean, you could see there was some hesitation, like, I don't know about, because when we think about replaythroughs, we think about going through a whole not boring, but having to go through the entire game again.
It's like beating a game and then you do it on the new plus version. It's just like another version of the game, but harder.
Yeah.
But that's actually what got me interested in this game when you mentioned that, Mark. That's the reason why I started playing it.
Really?
Well, not only did you rate it highly, but you were like, you play it once and then you play it from a different character's perspective again. And I thought that was a really cool idea. I mean, I've seen these other things in movies and stuff, but I don't think I've really played a video game that you played exactly the same story from a different perspective. And I wanted to try it.
So to go back kind of to what you were saying, Nick, you were saying that this was what you were looking for. This was kind of a game you're looking for. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah. I think I was playing platformers and other games that I know I like. But this was something kind of interesting and new that I didn't know existed out there that I feel really satisfied playing. And it has a lot of things that I think are just a lot of fun. So the whole bullet hell thing, which if you really want to call it bullet hell, but it seems like that to me. I don't think that's difficult, but it's kind of fun to play. I like all of the customization of it. I like the pseudo open world side quest things you could do. I like the very typical philosophical Square Enix Japanese story that you got going on. I'm a sucker for those. I like Neon Genesis quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think it checked a lot of boxes for me when I was playing it. And nothing seemed too difficult, because I think that I've been playing games for a while that I think pushed me in difficulty a little bit. Like even like Hollow Knight and Celeste, and even like
like doing Ghost without doing literally anything but go through the base stuff.
Yeah, I beat Ghost of Tsushima with the fishing pole. I just thought I.
So this one, I don't think I've died. I died twice so far, and oh no, 3 times, and twice was on the very last boss. And that was because I wasn't prepared. But I love like the customization you have with the chips that you can do. You can put on. Like at the last boss, I went into the last boss and I just didn't have any health pots. I just completely forgot all of it. And you couldn't go back. I'm just stuck. So then I took every single health regen chip and I just stacked all of them. And if I went out in combat with that 6 seconds, I was like full health immediately. So like you could do all these like cool like things with the chips to be able to really cater to your playstyle, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, the chips are all random drops, aren't they? If I remember right, they're just completely random. Yeah.
And you can buy those from but you can put a chip on that helps you out with random drops as well.
And you can even have chips that are the same chip, but like have that like one chip will take up 12 slots, and then the same chip will take up 8 slots.
Like better chips,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can fuse the chips and make them even better as well.
Did you guys take out your CPU or whatever, by the way?
I didn't. I was nervous too.
No, I've been meaning to try it.
As long as you save, it's fine.
Yeah, because it just says like, oh, if you delete this, you die. I think it even says it like.
Yeah, I think it's on the tooltip or whatever for it. There's another way. You can also there's buttons that you can press to suicide and do an explosion. I think it's self-destruct. There's a self-destruct thing. I forget what the combination is.
I know you select that on at the very beginning. You enable self-destruct. But I never used it. I don't know how to.
Well, you can. Just save before you do it. I mean, these are the things that I'm talking about. Like, if you do die, it just takes you back to where you were last. So you do lose any progress if you haven't saved. And so that's the reason why, like, the things like the fish and poisoning yourself and dying is kind of shitty. But at the same time, I guess I'm glad it's there. Because what if you didn't save right beforehand and you did that? You'd feel kind of like, fuck this game. I'm really angry that I just lost hours of progression because I didn't save before I ate this fish, which seems kind of silly. But
yeah, the game trained me to save constantly from dying the first time on the first run before you get to the save. And so you're like, 35
very long
more minutes. Yeah. And so now I'm like, I will save it, go into my inventory and change 2 things, save it. Like, It's like old school computer games where I'm like constantly worrying a game's gonna crash, so you just have to constantly save.
Right. Yeah. So the other question I have for you, both of you, the main reason I didn't get into this game when it first came out because I discounted it as soon as I saw it. It looked like just a fan service game that I wasn't interested in. Why didn't you guys play it? Did you even know it existed ever?
I had no idea.
Really?
Okay, so I did. There's a couple different reasons why I didn't play it. I bought it like right after release because the reviews came out and the reviews were like, "This game is incredible." But if I might be screwing this up, but I'm fairly certain when Nier came out, it's that 6-week window, which may be the greatest like 6-week gaming release window of all time because you had Nier, Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Did it come out with Breath of the Wild?
No. There's like a 6-week window. I think it was Nier, Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Persona 5 all came out within like a month of each other. Yeah, like you see the Horizon people now. Like Horizon now is a really big deal, but because it came out right when Breath of the Wild came out, you're like, no one paid attention to it. And then you compare the games to each other. So there's certain things like the way you're traveling, the way you have to do the open world in Breath. You're like, I liked it better in Breath of the Wild. It like was unfairly compared against it. But now you have this like distance and they don't directly compare it anymore. But I have to look that up, but I'm fairly certain that's like that window that it came out. So all those other games just got moved up, and those were all pretty comprehensive like investment games. And so Nier just kind of got slotted underneath them all, you know. And then I had it for years. I just never played it. Hence quarantine, going back and seeing this mountain backlog, you know. And I didn't have anyone close to me who, you know, I'm very persuasive if a friend of mine like you guys play a game and just wax poetic and just start and I'm like, okay, well, that's all I need.
Okay. Yeah. Because I mean, like, I know when we were talking about it last week, you're like, I guess I'll go find my copy and try it.
Yeah. So I looked at it. It was almost exactly 2 years ago when I played it, and it was like a Saturday, and I just like, oh, I'll give it a shot. And one that was not like what I thought the game was going to be, but I also died on the buzzsaw, the double buzzsaw in the beginning. I just got my free frame, and I realized you had to start the game over. I was like, fuck that. And I never played it again. So because of that, I wanted to go look this up. If you go in, so how often do you guys ever go in and look at the trophy system to get like data of how players play with games? Do you guys do that at all, or am I the only?
I don't analyze it, but I'll be like, oh, so many people have done this and so many people have done that, but I don't like.
I look at that. Yeah.
I don't make a psychological evaluation about what achievements have been.
I'm not saying you're trying to make an academic paper, but like there's certain stuff, right? Games have like checkpoints, and I'm always kind of curious, like how many people made it to the halfway part versus finish the game, you know? And it's kind of like, I forget the completion rate again of Last of Us 2. And it's like, if you made it to the first like little bit, like only 10% of the players dropped off. But the completion rate on that is like 70% for Last of Us 2, which is incredible for a game that's 20 plus hours.
Well, I mean, it's just, it was a highly anticipated game that like everybody wanted to see the whole story, and it just came out.
But the point, so this game, only 75% of the players made it to the first quest. So 25% of the people who played the game didn't even finish the first quest and quit playing it. Like that first level really did fuck over like literally like 1 in 4 players. So I was like, okay, that's a lot of people. Like that's because you normally look at like first time you equip an item achievement, you know, and you look at that and you're like, oh, okay, 98%. Usually those firsts are really high, and you're like, oh wow, this game really crushed a lot of people right out of the gate.
This game is not forgiving. I almost stopped playing at the beginning just because I had my own errors or my own issue that was going on with it. So I replayed the beginning twice, all the way through. I didn't die. I just had to play it twice.
Oh, okay.
Humble brag.
I mean, I destroyed it. I think I beat it first without dying, but I was told, I was like, hey, yeah, this kind of sucks. You got to go all the way through this and just make sure you get to the save before you stop, because then you'll have to redo all of it. And so I was informed at least about it. But I can imagine not being informed and going through it and not having anyone around you to encourage you to play it, and just being like, well, fuck this. This isn't fun to me, and being done. Like Brian.
Yeah.
But now you guys have made it through a pretty decent part of it, and it's a game that you're glad you went back to.
Oh yeah.
And this would have never happened without this show, right?
No, my copy was literally a friend had it, and I had to send that text that I haven't sent since I was like a kid. Hey, can I have my copy back? I'm running to play it. If you are playing it, I understand. You keep playing it. But yeah, because I let him borrow it a long time ago, and so he came and dropped it off. But yeah, I don't even remember the last time I had to literally ask a friend to borrow a game back because I wanted to play it. Like, I might literally have been in high school.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, back in high school, that was common. Now you just download everything, and it's a lot of games are downloaded. So.
Well, that's what actually sucks, because like I've had friends message me, oh, for Ghost. So they're like, hey, are you playing Ghost? I'm like, I am. And they're like, oh, are you done? Can I borrow it? And I was like, actually, it's digital. I'm really sorry. Like, or else I would happily do that. And then I had another friend when I was going to play Resident Evil 2. She was like, oh, I wish I could let you borrow it. I bought the digital one. I was like, yeah, that's one thing that is less talked about the digital physical space, is that you can actually much more easily let your friends borrow games.
Yeah.
Versus the pure digital route.
I remember that was a big thing back in the day when they started doing stuff like that, and people were like, why can't I have a physical copy of this? And people were upset because you couldn't take that. Like, no, it was Xbox that was doing something like you could only play on your Xbox. Like, you weren't able to take it to another.
Even if you had the disc?
I think so. Yeah, you weren't able. It was just like it was locked to that account or something. And I think they stopped that. But I mean, that was something that companies were definitely trying to do. They were trying to put it one game per person because that's more money to get everyone to buy a game.
Well, they've always wanted to crush the secondary market.
I mean, that's what Nintendo does too, but they do that with systems. They're like, you need to have a Nintendo system in order to play multiplayer games with your friends. I mean, when we're talking about certain games, not all of them. Of course, they do some games that are meant for like parties, like Mario Party and stuff, and everything, and it works out pretty well. But, anyways,
yeah, I didn't know they were trying to make those games more individualized or to keep them with people. I know, like Brian, you were saying, I know that's rocked the music industry, where you have these digital copies of music and you can't exchange them between people. And what's like a used piece of music anymore? And so like these used CD shops and stuff ended up getting destroyed because they just nobody buys music anymore like that. They buy it in a different way that's not exchangeable in any way. So
I mean, what's the last time you guys bought us like a CD, like a music CD?
So I still buy CDs and records sometimes. I buy records, but I don't even have a record player.
But it's like a novel. It's like, oh, I want this because I really like this, and I only want it just because it's kind of a novelty to have it, right? It's not.
I buy for artists that I really enjoy. Then I'll try to keep all of their catalog with me.
Okay.
I like physical copies of things sometimes.
Okay. That's
no,
fair.
I'm the same. Yeah. With movies, I don't care about that, but with music, I do like albums. And one, I think it just, I mean, to sound like a hipster, it like literally grabbing the album and playing it, like there's the whole ritualistic aspect to it. It feels a little more personal, and you're connected to the music in a way where it's like you can, I mean, and I have libraries, you can just put on music for 300 years and never have a new, and never play the duplicate song. But there's something that changes the relationship to the album. It sounds so stupid, but I didn't realize it till like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago. And I went to a friend's house, and I walked into his house, and he's like, he has a rule in his house that when you walk in, you have to put an album on and you have to pick it. And there was just this dynamic process of like grabbing the album, putting it in. And there was some albums I had no idea was some weird 70s thing. And then I was looking at the art in the album, like, oh, this is really neat. And then they have all this different work that goes in. So you're like, have a piece of art that you get to interact with the music. And I was like, oh, this is more meaningful. It really physically is more meaningful.
I mean, video games definitely were like that too. And I mean, they still are, but like they definitely have lowered the quality of physical copies of them because they don't have those
unless you
anymore.
Do deluxe or collector's editions. Yeah, it's the only way that you can do that. And there's still a huge market for it because I mean, a lot of the games we play have deluxe or collector's editions, and if you don't pre-order it up through a month, you might not get it. Like they're all sold out. Even though certain companies' track records of their collector's editions are absolutely trash fires of quality and product, but you're like, we're still like it.
But if you get a good one, it's great.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I don't even know what's in it, but now my love of Last of Us 2 is like, I probably go back and buy the collector's edition.
I'm sure it's sold on eBay somewhere.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to pay $500 for it.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
But it inspires you, like, next time, like, if Last of Us 3 comes out and it looks like something like that, you're like, I'm probably going to be hyped up enough to buy the collector's edition.
Oh, 100%. Even if it's like Ellie's backpack, and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with Ellie's backpack.
Like a paper mache backpack or something.
But take my money.
Nick, you were saying something. I'm sorry. I interrupted you a little bit.
No idea what I was saying.
I'm sorry. I ruined it all.
Want to talk about the cheek?
The cheek? The little cheek in the...
Yeah, when I look over at Nick, I just see
a little bit of cheek.
Corner cheek. Peak cheek.
Yep.
I do like... There's a little bit of sexuality in this game.
Yeah.
But I think it's all right. I think so far...
It's okay. I don't mind the female form. It's fine.
I can find the female form.
You sound slightly scared of it. Like, say it out loud.
Well, he's gone. Yeah, you already you got rid of
47 minutes.
47 minutes.
What's
Yeah. I don't know. You got to figure that out somehow or another, Fred. Your
Discord.
Is this
my whole Discord just like slowly crashed?
Is it Discord that crashes? Maybe you need to update it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and I literally rebooted my system and fixed like nothing is allowed to boot with it, so it's not even any secondary service. But this time it was almost an hour. Usually it's 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. No, actually it's closer to 45 minutes because it's maybe 50.
55. I logged in at like 55.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Brian. I looked this up for you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to, have an orgasm right here listening to this, but $170 at Walmart even Last of Us Collector's Edition.
Yeah.
It comes with the game, a 48-page artwork, a 12-inch Ellie statue, a lithograph, a thank you letter, a replica of Ellie's bracelet, 6 enamel pins, 5 stickers, and then all the digital crap.
Oh man,
it's like everything Guys, you can ever want.
It's just it's a $170, dude. Just a $170.
It's been fun. I'll see you next Wednesday. Yeah. I got a place to be.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I would be excited if you actually got that and you were showing it off on, like, it just appeared like on your shelf behind you, just like
right now. By the way, guys,
look at the things I got. But no, you were talking about sexuality here, Nick. By the way.
Yeah, you're embracing it. You're no longer scared.
I think that the sexuality is completely fine so far. I did think it was actually. Why don't we take it to the next level? Because when we have, like Brian said, Sephiroth, like the dude with like the white hair, who the long white hair, and you see him and he's naked, but he has like no penis.
Oh, he's a Ken doll.
Like just add it. I don't know why we don't have one there right now.
Yeah. Well, that's why you asked me. You're like, Brian, where are you at? And I'm like, oh, I just beat Sephiroth.
Well, I mean,
Sephiroth was just born.
That was intentional because he's, not supposed. I mean, they could. I guess they were like, oh yeah, realistically put it in there. But what does that do for him? Besides?
What's the reaction to the game if they gave him a dong, like a legit?
It would have changed nothing. It would have changed nothing about the game. I think.
I didn't think it was intentional.
No.
I thought it was censored.
How does the community react? Like the world, the journalistic community, where all of a sudden.
I don't think they would react that much. Because I mean, if it was breast, people would react differently than if it's a penis. I feel like a penis that people look at it and they're like, ugh. Like, or at least
if you even come close to showing a penis on screen, you're rated X. Like you can't even do that. Oh yeah.
Is that like what male Cyberpunk's going to be then? Is going to be an X?
I still look in the trailer. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, well, the gaming system's different, right? We just have the mature rating, and then after that, you can just do
adult only. I think is the other one after that. Yeah.
Oh, is there adult only?
Yeah, it's AO, and if you get that, it's pretty much like you're done. Like, there's only been like 1 or 2 games that has ever been rated in AO, or like a handful of games. I think maybe not 1 or 2, but maybe a little bit more than that. But there's not very many games because they just can't be sold in game stores.
Yeah,
it just is what it is. I think this game had enough of it to bring people who would like that stuff to the game, and that helped with getting its popularity. But at the same time, I can see that game did it in a way that wasn't like classless, I guess. Like, it's not just you look at it and you're like, wow, this is just, I'm looking at porn. It's more like, oh, I'm looking at this and it's just whatever. Right. They want it to do that, and it wasn't something. It didn't take away
overtly objectification of the characters.
I mean, the androids wearing just like almost like lingerie lace, like that doesn't seem practical, but it looks cool. It just like a warrior android, I wouldn't expect to wear like sexy stuff. But I like the design. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, people love the design. I think it's wonderful.
Pretty great.
Actually, my favorite part of the design so far is just the floating swords. Honestly, I think that's like a really cool like little detail that just instead of having a holster for it, it's just hanging out by you. And I don't know.
So much easier to program. I think for sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think aesthetically it looks amazing. And it gives us like the sense of like it like something's like kind of magical or mystic, even though it isn't. It's something sci-fi, and I like it.
I think it does that as well. They saw it and they're like, that's kind of a limitation because then they have to work harder to like make all the different weapons fit properly on backs and match up and everything. Or they could just make it float there and then just make their own little system for it and go with it. And I think that's absolutely what they did.
I think that was the design choice because it doesn't necessarily make any sense.
No.
Other than it is so much easier to set up. Well, and I've been thinking about the second playthrough being the same game. Which is a smart design choice to give you, quote, twice the game without having to make twice the assets. They just get to really replay it over again, and focus on story. And then, because you're going to play through a lot of the same stuff in the same areas. They don't have to remake it.
Already you're playing it differently. So I haven't played a lot. But like you play in a different style, like you played in a hacking style. Or you can choose to if you want to. You don't have to.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the hacking style. Yeah. No, that was. I did a lot of that. I thought it was nice because it was just like doing mini games. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll see that, Brian. We don't have to go too much into it, but yeah.
Well, I've already done some of the
You do a little bit
hacking.
of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what Nines does. So it shouldn't be a surprise that once you play 9, you'll be doing more of that crap.
Well, because you do that in when you're in the theater. The first time you fight that real big like opera singer boss.
How'd you guys like that, by the way? Did you like that
I
music and everything? Yeah.
Loved it. Like,
so I actually turned down the music a little bit. I enjoy the music, but I turned it down so it's kind of quiet. Because when I'm just roaming around everywhere, I want the atmosphere to envelop me a little bit more than just constant opera music in my ear the whole time.
Okay. I didn't turn it down at all, but no, I get the
yeah,
perspective. I understand.
I have it turned up pretty loud. I love it. Like, it's one of the things I would say, like, I'm really impressed with the music, like almost across the board. Like, it's really, really good music.
Yeah, they did. They had they came to America with 3 concerts not too long ago.
Oh, you know what? I think I did hear about that, but since I didn't play Nier, it was like, because we usually go to the Distant Worlds.
One,
yeah,
Final Fantasy one.
I would absolutely go see the symphony if they came in to see this.
I would now too. Yeah, I would now too.
Yeah.
And of
Give
course,
me a little Pascal Village. I'm in, just a little jamming.
Pascal Village. Do you guys like how they kind of mess around with the game perspectives and styles? Like, you go side scrolling to 3D, like over your shoulder, or like the bullet hell straight line stuff. Like how it just kind of changes. Like when you go into the copy factory, or the factory, is it called the copy factory in the game? I don't know, the factory area at the beginning where you just randomly go into the side scrolling stuff and then back out and overhead. And did you enjoy that you changed perspectives, or does it not affect you at all?
I like it. I like it because it gives you more variety. Like it.
Because it's kind of just jarring when it does it, because you're just like, all right, I guess I'm doing this now. I mean, it's not. I like it, but it was just unexpected. I wasn't expecting to constantly change the type of game that I'm playing as I was going through the game, if that makes sense.
It keeps it a little fresh to me, honestly. Like, it's not just the same dungeon crawl or something like that.
Right.
You have a lot of different perspectives that kind of give you. They can do different things with, like, they could have the robots come at you at different angles, do different things instead of just the same old. And
yeah,
I enjoy it.
Okay. Brian, you kind of gave a face. You're like, well, that's a weird.
No,
question.
I love it. I love it a lot.
Okay.
Because I think the transitions from the screen stuff. You're right. The very, very first level, it's not unnerving. It's just, you're like, wait, what? You know, what's this doing? Like, very few games do this. Like,
I don't know I don't know many at all.
Well, do you remember Mario Odyssey? Like,
yeah.
When you jump off and you're 2D and you're just like, what? You know?
And that was a big thing too. People.
That was a big deal. Yeah. And I was like, this is kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that, because they do a really good job of the transitions, not creating like weird difficulty buckets where like some games they'll change the perspective, but it puts you in a position where it's gonna be really hard and you might get hit a lot and it puts you at a disadvantage. But I never feel like they put you in that position. You're always kind of ready for it, so to speak, because they did a really, really, really good job of it. And I like that. I like the platforming stuff. I like the way that you have sort of the traditional action adventure 3D element. And then the bullet hell stuff, I mean, for my thing, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of it, and none of it's hard, like from any, like, the old school, it was like old school style. And so, and actually now that I've played the game a third of the way through it, the opening level I feel like is slightly disingenuous for what the game is. Because there's so much more of that other stuff that maybe you do it a lot more later on, but no, I love it, like, kind of a lot.
All right.
I wasn't surprised too much when I saw it, though, because I think Square Enix either they like to do this in their games or just maybe the ones that I play, because I recall some of this in like Final Fantasy VII, but definitely Final Fantasy IX. I remember like a lot of different perspective changes depending on what village you go into or just what scene you're in, and a lot of like different different points of where it would like have you like run off into the distance till you were a pinpoint, or a lot of different things they were doing with perspective in that game.
Yeah.
So I'm not too surprised that like the same type of company would would maybe have this in their toolbox that they would give players.
Okay. The one I will say, if I'm actually going to talk about things that were not great about the game, the one thing that was I don't know if this is like intentional or it was just the easy way out, is that all the enemies are exactly the same in a way. They just you have robots and that's it. Just lots of robots, whole bunch of robots, bigger robots kind of combined together. You know, it's just robots. So that can get kind of bland after a while. I don't know how you guys felt about that. I remember that being kind of like, eh.
I'm okay with the story being so short, actually. So, like, what, one playthrough, 10, 13 hours or something like that for the first playthrough? So not real long. It's not like Ghost of Tsushima where you're playing like hour 25.
You only played 10 hours of that game. I mean, I don't, but okay.
I felt like there's as much variety as Ghost, with their different type of fighters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Because I'm trying to remember if there's anything else that was really just like, I don't know. I like this. Most of it was good because you can look at this game and just consider it art and then appreciate it more because like the decisions you can actually try to make more sense out of. But anyways, what were you saying, Brian? Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I hadn't even. A lot of times that does irritate me with games where you just sort of get in like beat 'em up status, where you kind of have kind of the same things. You just kind of are always beating them up, but it hasn't really plagued me at this time. And I've noticed because you kind of have like. You have the small robots, there's like the mid-size one, and then there's a larger one. And then as you've kind of progressed, they just get bigger weapons, but they don't really change that much. It doesn't really bother me, but I like, you know why I don't care? Because when you get to a boss, the bosses aren't just little retread versions. They're legitimate, interesting, unique, special bosses. They put a lot of time
little shade
and effort
towards Ghost. I got it.
So
yeah.
Unintentional, but yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
When you get there, I was like, ooh, I love this. So I think that's why. But if the boss was just like a flood of these other mobs, I'm like, that's not interesting. Because I've loved every boss fight. Like, was like really into it. And I'm kind of sad when they were over. Even like the opera singer, when I was sad, it was like done. I'm like, I want to do that again. That was great.
And is that like another thing with this game that's so weird is that like you'll get a lot of bosses down to like 50% health, and that's when they die. Like I don't understand why.
Or they run away. Like
it's really weird. I don't know why 50% is like, okay, now you beat me.
I can't remember. I don't remember that too much. It's been a bit.
Yeah, there's a handful of bosses that you don't actually take all of their health down. You only get to a certain point before they escape. They move. Something happens, but it's sort of like that's the cue mark, which makes sense. There's one, I forget which one it was. Maybe it was the opera boss or the health. You're just like fighting. You're like, man, it's just not going down. And you finally get to like halfway. You're like, oh, one more hour to go, and then it's like over, and you're like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because this is gonna be really long, and I don't think I'm underpowered coming at this part of the game. And actually, one thing, I think I'm way overpowered everywhere I'm at because I've done so many side quests. Because that's another thing. I love the side quests in this game. Like, I genuinely really like a lot of the characters, especially the robot village.
Even though they're like all robots are just generic humans, they're interesting. Their personalities stand out. Yeah.
Here's the thing that this happens in a lot of modern storytelling, especially involved with androids and robots. The humans are actually the robots, and the androids and robots are made the most human. You know, it happens in like go watch Rogue One. 21B is the most human, interesting. You know, in the whole movie. Right. I can't think of any other. That's happened a lot where you're like, oh yeah, another movie where the androids and robots get the most interesting stuff because they're the most human. And then here we got well, I guess she's an android, but I'm flat. I'm programmed to not have emotion.
Yeah.
You know, and that all the spice of life. I mean, Pascal, it's just a philosopher trying to figure it out, you know? you know?
Yeah. There's so many things that kind of, like, there are things that bothered me, like her personality bothered me a lot because I was like, this is kind of getting old. But then after a while, like if you go through more of it and through the other playthroughs, I think a lot of that stuff starts to get explained, that it makes sense that that's her personality and everything else. And
I assumed what's going to happen, you guys might already know this, that she's probably died, I don't know how many times, and they just so much of her history and life and memories are gone. So she's kind of, that's why she doesn't have her whole past and history, because it's been destroyed and she's rebuilt.
I think to let you know, I've had a discussion, because when we were doing the thing in Final Fantasy 14, I was like, let me bring on somebody who is really good with Nier. So I brought on a very popular Nier YouTuber who studies the lore and has gone through every game this guy has made and all the different little pieces and, analyzed it, hyper-analyzed it, and had conversation with him. He's a great guy. He's called Mr. Klimps. If you want to ever dive into his stories or more into the Nier universe, I would recommend watching some of his clips. But I say clips, but they're long videos about the game. And so I have a lot of information that I probably shouldn't have because I haven't beat all the playthroughs yet. So I do know a couple things about it, and I won't go into it too much, at least what I think is actually going on. See, one person actually who's watching this right now watched the episode where we discussed Nier. We had a whole Mog talk on Nier and how they were integrating it with Final Fantasy 14. So it was good. Hopefully I get that guy back on the show again soon.
Yeah, that'll be neat.
One thing I did like about their personalities, I liked... So it's ruining it a little bit for you, Brian, but it's just at the very beginning of the second playthrough. So you know how a 2B has the person on the base who gives her just updates and things like that, and this person is kind of energetic and sent her horoscope information and stuff like that. She's kind of this. She's not this 2B fighter personality.
Mm-hmm.
So and 2B seems to hate that.
Yep.
But then when you play Nines, he has the very opposite effect with his person he deals with on base. It's really cut and dry, and he's like, oh, I guess I don't have anything else to say. You just cut me off there. So sad.
So yeah, a lot of their playing through these other playthroughs, you learn so much about all these little personalities and why they were actually. There's not this dry story and this character who's just, oh, this is his person, this is just who he is. It explains it. It makes sense to you why they are the way they are as you go through them, or at least you can put it together. So.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me, because even with I would say the quote 2D flatness of your main character's personality and history, but if you pay attention to all the side characters, right? Historically, your main character is the real person that's dynamic and interesting, and then all the side characters are just crap. They're just little Lego pieces they put around with a little bit of fluff. But in here, there's so many side characters have so much thought and care put into them. You can tell, especially by there was the one quest that just killed me. I think it was the daughter who was going to go out, and it's from the Pascal village, and she went to go find a part, and she ends up in the desert, and you have to go rescue her in the desert. It's the first protect mission you kind of do. Mm-hmm. And at the very end, the way she just casually insults you with 2B for being just she's on point. She just
yeah.
What'd she call you? The weird angry lady?
I think that.
Well,
I think
thank
I
you,
remember,
weird angry lady.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of touch put into it. So I would expect the story to be as detail oriented, for the main characters as it was for all the side characters.
Yeah. Just to let you know, the person Yokotaro said that this was his grand achievement, and then he plans to burn out into invisible fire this year around this time. He said that years back. It's just he put a lot of work into this game. Absolutely. Yeah. And they were saying in chat, the story is very convoluted in the Nier universe, but that's why people like it. In a way, they kind of just crazy.
There's a lot to unpack and play with and think about and try to put it together.
Yeah,
no, that makes a lot of sense. It's not just garbage thrown at the wall.
Yeah, and these kind of stories are always fun to go through. The whole robot human consciousness and all the different concepts of am I a person kind of thing. Those are always fun to go through. I enjoy it, which is one of the reasons. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, did you see the Netflix series? I going to screw this up because it's like Love, Death, and Robots.
I watched most of it, but like I watched it with Cheryl a good bit. We just didn't finish it. So we just never went back. I probably should just go back and watch the last couple ones that were made, but
yeah, it's great. I loved it so much. I kind of wish there were like 1,000. I wish it was like they had as many episodes as like One Piece. I'm like, every day I could just come home and watch one episode, just something new, something fresh, something short, just so good.
The thing that like stood out to me the most, I remember from that series, is the one where the guy he was in a spaceship and he keeps going through a simulation of coming back to life or something, or like being healed, or like he was like maybe out towards some they kept trying to do different things to make him happy in that simulation. I can't remember what it was, and then in the end they're like, show me what it is, and it's just a horrible, like terrified, like crazy thing that he just like screams and just it's over.
Well, it's because they say, right, it's actually it was an alien presence that's like, we're here and we're creating this reality for you so that you can be happy. We want you to be happy. And he's like, no, I need to see the truth. And then you see the truth, and it's just this horribly grotesque, awful, terrible everything. And it's like, oh no, this is terrible. This is
yeah, maybe.
Though, like, the aliens were never bad. They were really trying to help you out.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy. I liked it. That stood out to me so much because that last scene creeped me. It didn't creep me out, but it was fucked up enough to be like, holy shit, this is fucked up.
Because it's the concept that's creepy, and historically the easy way is to make the aliens the villain of this, but they really aren't at all. And in this, you're just sort of like the emptiness and pain and horribleness. But what if something was really friendly to you but looked like a giant gelatinous blood bombed monster? It was like really nice to you, and you're like,
this is like you feel like it reminded me a little bit of Event Horizon for some reason, because Event Horizon also, like when I first watched it, I watched it kind of, I think, almost when it came out, and I don't know if I was. Maybe I was mentally aged enough to really experience that movie. You guys have seen Event Horizon, I'm assuming?
I saw it in theaters, I worked at a movie theater when it came out, so we saw it, like, we put on a midnight showing of it and then went and saw it.
Yeah. That movie had some fucked up stuff in it that I remember. I don't know if you've ever went back and watched that movie. The CGI doesn't hold up too well, but the movie itself, I think, is fine, but it's still.
I think I watched it like 5 or 6 years ago, and I was like, man, that movie used to really like terrify me.
Yeah,
and I watched it. I think the first quarter of it is still really good. It's got this great atmosphere, and the way that they handle the kind of empty spaceship is kind of terrifying. But the back quarter, which when I was a kid scared me, I now think is comical. Which
it is. There's a lot of stuff
more screwed up where I'm like, oh, this is funny. This isn't scary.
Yeah, I think we've definitely evolved in our ability to be scared of different things because of video games and different forms of entertainment hitting us in all different angles. I know it's a little bit harder to freak me out. I think concepts freak me out more than actual imagery almost, except for that one scene with that love robots, whatever. I was like, that's really fucked up. But man, I was about to go into another tangent about Dead Space because we were talking about empty spaceships. But anyways, let's go back to Nier. So we're like so far off from that.
So you were talking about this like concept of like androids and robots and humans, what it means to be human and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I think that Nier does it in a way that isn't cliche. Like it has cliche moments to it, but it doesn't throw everything in your face, which is very easy to do that. Like when you're watching, like, I don't know. I know Asimov did better in his book, but like the movie I, Robot is kind of ridiculous for a lot of reasons, but it also just treats the audience like they're stupid and throws all these philosophical concepts in your face. And Nier doesn't really do that. They're kind of just there. And if you want to pay attention to them, you can. If not, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Right. It does like two things. It'll simultaneously treat the audience stupid, so it's really obvious about its point, but then it throws out philosophical ideas in a way that pretends to add depth to the story, which it adds nothing.
You talk about iRobot?
It just a lot of that science fiction where they openly will bring out really big science, like philosophical questions, but in a way to where it's like freshman in college gets high and then like is waxing poetic.
Shower thoughts, yeah.
Like, yeah, and it's like, I'm not saying there's not something deep there, but I don't think it's as deep as you think. But also, usually the mediums themselves don't even try to address that concept that's related to the story it's in. It's like, here's fake depth, but I'm actually just a action bullshit, and we want to pretend to be this thing. You know, there's a lot of incongruousness with that.
But Nier does it in a way it seems kind of more artful than, and it still feels like a video game too. Right?
Because it doesn't linger on it. It doesn't ask big questions and then pause and be like, don't you think I'm smart?
Yeah.
Even if Pascal Village, essentially all the side characters are named after philosophers. I mean, it's just pretty good. I love Jean Paul. It's like, if you ever met Sartre, you'd probably be like, this guy, fuck.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
So there's one thing in Nier that I don't like. You were talking about things that are
absolutely
not so great. Yeah, there's one thing I don't like. I don't like the map. I think the map. Actually, I don't like the controls in the map, and I don't like getting to the map because when you bring up the map, it doesn't just bring it. You have to bring up like the screen, and then
you have to go past the save point. You click it, and you might drop it. Yeah, I want to press the middle, and then map just pops up.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree. That's irritating.
And the actual map, just the interface itself, is kind of messy and hard to move around. I don't know. I don't really care for it. And the navigation system, I want a true north is one of the things that I want. You can set destinations, but you don't have any compass or anything like that, which makes it a little pain in the butt. And I remember at the very beginning, you can go in the tutorial thing and you can like learn how to do all the different things. And one of the things is, do you want to learn about the map? And it teaches you about the map. And then if you say something like, I'm not really happy with the map, can you make it any better or something like that, they're like, nope, it just kind of is what it is, you have to do it.
I don't know if I did that.
No. Okay, so in the Resistance village, whatever they're at, have you talked to the guy that basically looks like Nier's version of Jack from Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah, he's the guy with the moon head.
Yeah. It's like you said. Well, I did that too. When you ask him, I asked him about the map. He goes, "Well, here's the thing. It's like this, but you're just gonna have to get used to it. Sorry, buddy." You're like, they just flat out tell you, deal with it. Like,
I know it's not great. Who cares?
Yeah. I legit respected the shit out of that when they did. I was like,
I thought it was
respect.
Yeah. That's him. I think he put himself in the game in that way. I don't think that's really.
I can't wait to go back and ask every question now, because I think that was the only one I clicked like, well, usually when they give you the list of like things you should have learned in the game, I'm like, I already know it. I don't need to talk to this person. But I'm gonna go back and talk to Jack and ask him everything. I didn't realize he was probably gonna troll me on every answer.
I don't know if he's gonna troll you. I don't remember because I didn't go through all of it. But that head has meaning to somewhat. I remember in I think it was in the forest area, there's like the head rolling around and everything too. I can't really remember too much about it.
Yeah. It doesn't explain it.
Yeah.
It just shows like this head that's beneath like a metal casing. So it gives you the feeling like there's something, maybe not flesh and blood, but something more than robot that's underneath these machines that just went the cracks open. Like that's their armor in a way.
Well, yeah, because you beat that one mob right outside the gates of the forest castle, and that the face, and then you're both your characters are like, what the hell is this? And then it's what freaks out, runs away or rolls away, and then rolls through the gate, breaks open the gate for you, and you're just like, what?
I was actually stuck in that part for a while, actually, if I remember right. I don't know why, but I couldn't figure out what to do to get to that gate. I don't know if it's because I didn't activate something beforehand or what it was, but I remember being very frustrated with that.
So that's one reason how I ended up doing a lot. So right when you get to the point where you're going to the forest castle, I didn't realize the quest you have wants you to go back to your orbital station, but I didn't realize that. So I just had all these quests. I'm like, which one am I supposed to do? Well, I'll just start doing the top. And so I just started closing them all until they were like all gone. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. And then I see the corner. It's like, go to the orbital station. Because normally
yeah,
what I would do, right, when you go to your transport section, you can click through and see like, oh, there's a quest near this transport. And at some point I'm like, well, they're all done. I don't know what to do now. Because when you actually click on your airport transport, it's blank. And I'm like, ah, crap.
I think I got stuck there too. Yeah, there's a couple hiccups. I could tell there's a couple of hiccups in there.
Because usually it'll tell you like active quest, like here's the main storyline, and then there's all the other stuff. But it doesn't. It kind of does that once you kind of know that there's that subtlety on the bottom left. It'll kind of tell you what the. So yeah.
The place I got stuck at was there's a place where you have to get like this thing that'll work like a radar, so you can find special items.
Oh, yep. I think I remember that too.
I don't want to ruin why for Brian if you haven't got there.
I don't think so. No.
You got to be just close there. But what tripped me up is I thought it was a chip that I had to equip that would like just send out like a radar.
Okay.
And so I kept going through my stuff over and over again. I was like, did I just miss this? I know I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I went to run around for a while. Maybe I need to trigger something. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. And then eventually I was like, wait a minute. It's probably something on my pod. And I went and checked, and there was another thing I can select on my pod instead of like the laser or whatever. And it was I
didn't know you could change stuff on your pod for a while too. I think I was
I just got my second pod, which is very exciting.
I haven't got another pod.
I don't know if I did either. I can't remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, you get like two. You can choose between different ones. Is that right?
Yeah.
I could choose between different.
Because I have like a big AOE pod now. It's possible I bought it from someone, from a vendor that just opened up, and then I immediately just like went in and bought it.
So I have one pod, but I have different abilities for that one pod. Like I have an AOE ability, I have a laser ability, I have a detect, and there's a fourth ability that I have. I have like 25 or 30% of the abilities done for the pods.
Okay.
But I haven't upgraded my pod. And maybe I'm getting the terminology wrong. I'm pretty sure it's the same pod. It just has different abilities that I can hook up to it.
It's been about 9 to 10 months since I played this game, so I'm trying to like remember all this stuff too.
Yeah, and I could be having this confused too, because I'm fairly certain I have two pods, but they're both different. Like one is the big laser, and then the other one is...
Actually, it's been a year.
It's a big AOE.
Yeah.
So like, I think maybe I bet you there's multiple. Either there's each one's a different pod, and each different pod has a different ability, or one pod you collect all the abilities for. And I assumed that it was you're one pod and you just can equip it with like different weapons. It's just whatever ability you give it.
You know what?
But I also don't know because I got the digital deluxe version, so my pod doesn't even look like a pod. My pod looks like a book.
You got the digital deluxe. So what made you want to buy the digital deluxe version of this?
It was like, I think it was pretty close to the same price, like a couple dollars different, I think, on the digital download. It was super cheap, so why not?
Yeah, fair enough.
And it comes with, there's some DLC, I think, with it too. I don't really know when that starts or what.
I don't know. I gotta play through this game again because it's starting to, you guys reminded me a lot of stuff that I forgot about the game as well. And man, I'm you know what? This time a year ago, maybe a little bit before, I thought of this game as a degenerate video game. I thought only degenerates played this game, and I was just like, why would I ever want to play this? This looks stupid. And then like people kept telling me, no, yeah, I know there's lots of no, yeah, you should try it. And I'm like, all right. And so I dragged myself through it, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, this is actually kind of a good game, and I felt pretty good about going through most of it. And then now, just not too long ago, I talked to you guys about it to play it, and I'm like, man, it's weird because I never thought that this would be a game that I don't know how to describe it. It's just one of those things that you just like put off, and you're like, I'm not the type of person who plays games that are that type of game. I'm not that type of person. And then I don't know. Anyways, I don't know why I went off into that whole little side part, but it was just funny to think about like how my opinion has changed within a whole year about a video game.
Well, same. Remember, I would have probably never touched it again after my 30-minute failure.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not doing that again. I'm too soft. There is one thing I don't want to forget. It's really dumb that I really, really enjoy.
Sure.
The animation when you're running and you get to full speed, the way you're at that like tilted 45-degree angle leaning forward, the animation's so clean. I just like watching it. Like, just, I don't know what it is. It's very satisfying. We're just like, good job, guys. Good job. Nier, you really crushed this. This is really good.
And also speaking along those lines, there's like not secret moves in the game, but there's a lot of things you could do that they do not explain to you.
Absolutely.
Like
Oh,
you can. I didn't
know
about the double jump. I didn't know that existed, and then I didn't know you could double jump and then dash. And I didn't know you could double jump, dash, and then hold on to your little dude so you could drift farther.
Yeah.
Or you can even jump, dash, and then jump again after you dashed. If you like break up your, there's like a lot of different things you could do with like movement that you just figure it out.
So go ahead.
Oh no, go Mark.
No, I was going to say this is a concept that actually goes into maybe a discussion that we had not too long ago about games changing and being kind of explaining everything, holding your hand and being too easy versus, games that you just had to kind of figure out before. And this kind of goes back to that concept about stuff that you just have to figure out. They're not just going to baby and hold you the whole way through the game. And if you are enjoying that experience, or if you're not enjoying that exists in this game, would you rather them tell you all these things?
I was talking.
Perfectly.
Go on, Nick. Yeah, no, go.
I would just say I'm perfectly happy learning all of it on my own because I feel like I'm discovering like new abilities, even though they're not new abilities I'm discovering. They were always there. It's just kind of fun. Like I'll be
you feel like
fighting
you're
something
mastering
and then
it. Maybe.
Yeah. Like I'll be fighting something and I'll accidentally do something. And I'm like, whoa, how did I do that? And then I got to try to figure out how I did that. And then I learned something new about how the game works.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember playing the game and using just a couple of different moves and just holding down, I think, the trigger to shoot at the same time and just keep attacking things. And I was just literally just it. I was just kind of going through.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to remember that I needed to also shoot stuff while I was attacking because that was so much more effective than just sitting there waiting, which I did often. I would forget that I could shoot stuff at the same time. And I'm like, man, I wasted so much time.
Yeah.
Anyways, Brian, what were you saying? Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say I'm of two minds where I was simultaneously like annoyed where I didn't understand. I didn't have certain moves. I could have used them and needed them to make it easier. But then I'm also like, well, crap. If I've been my handheld and I've been so nurtured through so many recent games that I'm just mad about not having that because the process of discovery and learning stuff is also pretty powerful and pretty neat. So the truth is I don't know where I lie on it because I'm at the same time think it's beautiful and annoying as hell.
Okay.
So yeah.
I like it.
Type of game, I'm okay with it, but I honestly probably do prefer like in Braid. I think there's some very like simple mechanics in Braid, but the way he implements them and teaches you how to implement them through like these pseudo tutorials that don't really seem like tutorials, like just seem so natural. And you learn everything about the controls for that game just by playing the game and not being handheld. Okay, this is how you jump and stuff like that.
Right. This one,
I like that too.
I mean, a lot of the extra attack stuff, you don't need it. It's just there. I think that's one of the things that why I didn't mind it so much because it was just kind of there. It's stuff that's like, oh, I know I can do this. It makes the game easier. I know how to do this now. They don't tell you how to do it because it's not necessary to tell you because you can still beat the game without it. And maybe you don't want to press more than one button. You don't want to try to do combinations of things. You don't want to try to get past it, and learning and knowing and mastering that stuff maybe has a sense of reward to it because they don't tell you about it. I don't know.
Well, and I think you made a really good point. At the end of the day, it's like other than understanding the basics, you can still play the game fine. It doesn't withhold you of being like, if you can't really do chain combos, you're going to get screwed eventually. And at this point, it doesn't seem to be that. It's just like, just learn to evade. It's like, which the game teaches you pretty quickly. Like, just evade. Evading's more important than almost attacking. Because once you learn how to evade, the rest is fairly trivial. I was guessing, did you guys come across the speed robot?
Yeah,
yes, I didn't beat him. I don't know if I beat him. I don't remember if I ever went back.
I beat all three. I did all three of these things. Yeah. I spent a lot of time, and I'll tell you that the third one was... And I actually looked so hard to beat it because at one point I'm like, is this impossible? I cannot beat this. And I don't know if I just need to wait till I get like certain upgrade chips. So I like went online and the response was, so a lot of people were like, oh, you've come here because this is actually the hardest thing to do in the entire game.
Yeah, I think it was speed chips, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I forget I have I guess potions. And I was like, oh crap, and then he used a potion and then I beat it the first try. But it was like probably did it 20 times. Of trying to like, because there's 2 different routes you can go, and I'm like, all right, I've got this route down. And then at one point even I was like, I crushed it and he still beat me, and it's like, okay, shit, I don't know if I can beat this. And then I forgot I had pots.
Yeah.
Oh, first try. There you go. But it was like a lot of trial and error before I got to that point. And I love the speed robot. And I felt terrible. He's like, I was always the fastest, and now that I'm not the fastest, I don't think I have a point to live. And just commit suicide. Just blows up. That was horrible. I felt bad.
You should have never beat him.
I don't even care that I'm the fastest.
Yeah, well, that's all he had in life, man.
I know.
I don't know how much either one of you guys played Mario Odyssey, but there was a couple, like you fight this, like you run a speed run against this Koopa, and there's a couple of them in there that are really, really difficult.
I did a few of them, not all of them.
You have to know some very precise tricks and some very precise routes to get through some things, and some of them took me like an hour to get down.
Yeah, I Odyssey was one of those that I went through and I did some of it, and I never went back and tried to do any more than what I did to beat the game. So I know it's a game that a lot of people do go back and they do complete it all the way, but I just never.
It's one that I want to go back and finish because I loved it. I mean, because I played it day of release, and then I played it nonstop and only slept until I beat it. Like I played it all night, went to sleep, woke up, played it till I beat it.
Oh,
and then I think I only am getting like 400 or how many total moons are there? 700. No, Nick, I know you got them all. Is there 800?
1,200.
I want to say there's like.
And I think you need to get to like 500 to get to like the second tier of like beating the game. Right? Am I wrong on that? It's like you have to get 500 before you get to the second tier of like unlocking the final zone. Or I might getting this confused, but there's some threshold you want to get a second tier, and I was close to it, but No, I want to go back. I also have never played Mario Odyssey outside of handheld. Like I've only played on the Switch when it was on handheld, and I've never got to play it on a big screen.
I played it on an airplane.
Like on a big screen.
On an airplane. Yeah, most of mine was on
That sounds like a really great way to spend an entire airplane is playing Mario Odyssey. Like
it helped so much. I don't care if the guy next to me was like, oh, this guy's playing a video game. You know, I think that was also an amazing thing for me. I was playing Mario as an adult next to another adult, and I didn't feel uncomfortable that this other random adult was watching me play video games on an airplane. I felt good about that. There's something about that felt like I'd grown in a way of not giving a fuck about other people, and at least in a way that was like their opinion, right? I don't care if I make him uncomfortable, sure, but if I'm like just playing a video game, I'm not going to worry that he's judging me in some weird way. I
would hope you would not care about that.
Yeah, you would.
Like at all.
Like I'm a person who does actually care a lot about what people think about me. I just don't show it as much, I guess. Like I have, I grew up doing most of my work and excelling because of customer service and doing and people having positive interactions with me, and so that was kind of the thing that I think if I didn't at work, I don't tell them anything about video games. I don't discuss video games at all. I'm work only, and that's it, because I don't want to have those weird judgy perceptions of people around me. Nick, I don't know if it's like that with you. I know you work with a lot of people who are
my old job, I was pretty open about a lot of stuff, but at this job I never discuss anything other than work. I also don't really feel like I have anybody that I'm really close to at work at all. They're just work associates, and that's it. I don't have anybody I joke around with or I just shoot the shit with or anything like that.
I avoid it, even though there's efforts made to get to know me more, invite me to their houses and stuff. I'm like, nope, busy. Nope, can't. I don't give a shit about being friendly with anyone at work. I'm like, I don't care. None of them are even close to being like, I would, if someone was there and they're like, oh, this is kind of a geeky dude that likes like D&D or video games or something, maybe I would try, but like, there's no hints of that anywhere in my office. They're all just kind of old farts. Old farts is what I'd call them. That's the right definition.
Yeah. Well, I have the complete opposite.
Fair, of course.
Yeah, you have like the perfect work people.
Yeah. Well, and my field in general is full of nerds. Like even the people that like we weren't friends with that work with, they're all like the level of just general geeky nerdiness is just across the board. Mm-hmm. Like a random coworker who I don't talk to very much literally messaged me today about ROMs emulation and hacking trying to get the ROM hack where you can get ROM. So for emulating the what was the 3DS, right? The 3DS is actually really hard to emulate because it has all the touchscreen components. It's got the two screens, and so he was saying, well, the hack around that was you would actually have a ROM that you could put on the memory on a cartridge, and then just put it in. You could have all your games on a cartridge and put it, and you still need a 3DS. But apparently, the way that they'd hacked that, Nintendo patched that. So he randomly messaged me about all that, and he's like, "Hey, do you know a hack around this? Because I can't find anything." I'm like, "Oh, that's the one area of emulation I don't fuck with." Like, yeah, I don't know anything about it. But that was just like a random thing I got out of the blue today at like 2:00. Yeah.
I haven't had
coworkers
that
very differently.
I haven't had that closeness to coworkers in over a decade, which is kind of sad. But I mean. Maybe my next job. I don't know. It's just I've lost that ever since I was working with teenagers. That was the only time that like I was. That was it. So we're. I don't know how we got over into this topic, but it was just...
I looked it up by the way. So Mario Odyssey, 999 moons. So I remember having that number on there.
So many moons. So many moons.
But there's a good 119 that you buy from the stores because you're allowed to buy duplicates from the stores. So the most you can get is 880. And I was thinking about
that's what I thought. There was 880 like moons you get from different worlds.
Or maybe you said it, Brian, you were close to a place where like you like unlocked an area to get
because isn't there a final zone that you unlock but you have to get 500 moons?
There are different. So there's this I think when you beat the game, you go to the Mushroom Kingdom. That's like the N64
Which
then after that,
so happy.
I know that was a really cool place.
Well, right, because ever since Mario 64, the Mario sequel I've been wanting my whole life was Mario Odyssey because I loved Mario 64 so much. And this was the final true sequel that they made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a dark side of the moon. I think it might be called Dark Side of the Moon 2, but there's a whole other area that opens up when you can get bigger and go out there. The game is like really satisfying to get all the moons for. There's a lot of really fun ones to get kind of everywhere, and there's some like really good like puzzling to do in there as well. And there's even like the little pictures that you get that have like, I don't know, it might just have like one of them has like different block characters on it, like different, like one's like black and white, one's like red, blue, and yellow, and they're all just sitting on this like half circle. Is a paintings, that's what they are, and you have to just figure out where that moon is based off of that one little painting, and it could be anywhere in the universe. So it's really like you kind of have to know like pretty well the design of the whole universe to get a good idea of how to play it.
Yeah, Brian, what do you think?
I think that's a pretty clever design.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That it forces you to pay attention and really know your shit.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did I fool you?
No, you did good. No, that was right. No, you were so quick about it that I wasn't able to like really catch you on it, but almost.
I mean, we were commenting on how Adam didn't have a penis, and what if Mario did instead? Like, how would that add to the dynamics?
Like, if they showed Mario's penis, how much would that change Nintendo?
Dude, they showed his nipples and people freaked. Like,
oh, when he's wearing a swimsuit?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember people being kind of upset about that.
You were upset about that?
No, I remember people. I remember people being upset about that.
People being upset.
Okay. Yeah, when I start to get more relaxed, I kind of have like a mumble tendency, and I need to.
I didn't know if you were pushing the hashtag Nips We Riot.
Nips We Riot. What? Was that a hashtag?
Yeah. You should definitely look that one up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Type that into your search engine.
Riot.
Yeah.
Make sure to have Google Safe Search turned off.
It would be just as good as me looking up the hashtag for Pokemon Masters X. Did you guys see that?
No.
What is that?
They did a hashtag, and it's basically hashtag Pokemon's Masters X, one word, but since it's Pokemon Master Sex would be the other way to look at it. And so that was a Nintendo promoted thing that looked more like Pokemon Master Sex, like they're trying to do some crazy rule. What is it? 32, 40, whatever. I don't remember what it is with Pokemon. But then people were freaking out because it was trending, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, I didn't catch that one. I didn't catch Nintendo's Master Sex that they were...
Master Sex. Pokemon
they
Master
were pushing,
Sex. Yeah.
The one day of like the entire decade, Nintendo's like, we're going to be sexual today.
Yeah, today is the time. Yeah.
But next... Yeah.
I can't believe you missed that. That was such a big thing on the internet. Come on.
Yeah.
It was like a whole 4 hours of being like interesting. Just randomly on Twitter. I can't believe it wasn't.
I was very tired that day.
Oh,
Boy, did I took 2 naps.
All right. So Nier, we're planning to. I'm thinking I'm gonna jump back into it, and I'm gonna try to jump back to where I was with 9S and not just start from the beginning, and see if I can coherently go through that game.
Do you not like 9S? Is that why you don't call him Nines? Are you still trying to keep a distance in your relationship? I love him just being like, "You sure you will call me Nine?" It's like he's so needy in a way that's like kind of endearing.
And they go into that too, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. Nines is I should be calling him Nines. I was kind of annoyed by it. Like, I was feeling that personality. Like, man, he's kind of annoying.
100% could feel you being annoyed as hell at him at the beginning.
But then I wasn't annoyed. Like later,
you're like, you hate tryhards, especially them trying to like make something. It's like, hey, call me Nines. I'll call you damn well once.
That's me, man. No. But yeah, I do want to go back. I want to just to make sure that I go back to the story and I could make sense of where I'm at and where, when you play a game and you haven't played it in like years, you're like, I might as well just start over. Hopefully it's not like that. I can just jump back into it.
I think even just listening to us talk about what we've said, because considering the second playthrough is kind of going to re-go through the whole stuff, I don't think you're going to miss a whole lot.
Yeah, I think it should be fine. I don't know how far I made it with 9S, or 9s.
No, you say what you need to say according to your relationship.
I forgot 9s existed, so I was just going with 9S. But yeah, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try to start where I left off and see if I can make it, and hopefully be done by the next show, so we can have a full in-depth conversation about it.
Yeah.
At least ending C, I would assume that we want to do. But I'm gonna try to go to ending whatever. I think it's E. E might be the actual like last, even though it's like little tiny things. It's like the last relevant main story thing.
Yeah, so they do it. Like, I'm sure you do a playthrough through B, and then you'll do a playthrough through C. Will it bring you through another playthrough every single time?
I think so. I think. I don't know. It's. I don't remember exactly how they do it. I just remember that there's actually like 5 or 6 that you actually are like the main set of stories, and not just the goofy. Oh, you killed yourself. Welcome to ending Z. Yeah. So I think it's those, and so I'm gonna try to keep pushing it as much as I can. I think with Labor Day coming up, I have an extra day as well.
For sure.
Yeah. And I was forcibly given Friday off work too.
So okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, because we're all in quarantine working from home, like our team, they kind of did a roll of the dice, and then everyone has to take like Fridays or Mondays off because people aren't taking vacations. And so they're just forcing people to take days off because no one's taking time off.
Use their
which is
vacations.
smart.
Yeah.
People are starting to hate work when you're always at work and always working from home. So
it's nice when you don't have like actual hours you have to take off. Like you don't have PTO. You just take off when you take off.
yeah.
If you had PTO and you'd be pissed. Like, you're making me use this.
Yeah,
I don't want to use my PTO.
Yeah,
right now.
no, it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
And then I kind of lucked out because like our whole team, we kind of did we did like a roll off, and I won it. And then it's like, well, do you want to take Friday? I'll give you 4-day weekend. And at first I was like, no, I want to spread out my 3-day weekends. They're like, screw it. I haven't had a 4-day in a while. That might, I think I need to take off work long enough to forget like how to do my job. Because then you're like, now I'm ready to go back to work and I want to be here because
when you have a long vacation, sometimes you actually don't feel bad about going back to work because it's like, all right, I'm reinvigorated.
Well, that's like, right. The right vacation is when you want to go home. Like, you want to be gone long enough for like, I really want to go home. You're like, that's a good vacation where you need to go home.
Yeah.
But I've done that. Like my last 2 vacations where I was, overseas and gone for weeks. By the time I came back to work, I was like, I have no idea how to do my job. I have not thought about this. It's like I was gone a year, even though it was like, 3 weeks or whatever.
Right.
And he came back and was like, I have no idea what to do. Like, which is great. It's like, I legitimately love that. It's kind of exciting.
I don't think I've ever taken off longer than a week of work. Never. That I can remember.
I've taken off 2 weeks. A couple times I've taken off 2 weeks.
This is not a shared experience.
I'm sorry. I probably should.
No. Well, I mean, I timed it, right? Because I did the Antarctica trip from December and January. But like I timed it because we had all the holidays in the middle. So I didn't actually I only took 2 weeks off from work, but it stretched to 3 weeks. So when I was gone for that 3-week period. So.
Okay.
I'm about to take 3 months off.
Are you?
Weird.
Yeah. He's got the dad calendar.
Oh, yeah. How soon is that you're taking those 3 months off?
I think we're gonna try to stagger it. So I think Shan's gonna try to take the first 3 months. I'll take the second 3 months, so we could go 6 months without daycare.
Smart.
Because they just passed it in Congress, where starting October 1st, federal employees can take men can take leave.
Paternity
leave. There wasn't before. It didn't exist before.
Which is good. It should be a thing. So I'm happy with that, hearing that. Because I mean, who knows? I might have to be dealing with that sometime in the future, but we're not at that point. So that's a little bit more personal, I guess.
I really wish Cheryl just walked right in the corner.
And it's just like her belly's like sticking out. Yeah.
Get ready to take vacation.
Yeah.
It's like shit.
No, but no, it's in the future at some point. I'm sure in some way, or maybe we'll decide. I don't know. COVID's really fucked up a lot of stuff with how we're all thinking. But this is not this is friends with Frosty's personal life, not friends with Backlog. So it's
yeah. All right, so game stuff.
I think we've actually spent almost 2 hours talking about Nier.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I have a couple of things I actually wanted to ask you guys about.
Please.
So one is, are you guys familiar with the game Moon Remix RPG Adventure?
Not at all.
Okay.
No.
So I'm going to probably butcher a lot of this, but it was this really niche Japanese RPG that was released for the PlayStation 1, I believe. And so the only way you ever had access in the States was a lot of the emulation translation stuff. But apparently it was not very good, and they never did an official port. But one of the things that's changed a lot of modern RPGs was Toby Fox, when he made Undertale. It was the single greatest thing that it's there's Earthbound influences and there's other stuff, but it was really this game, because one of the things that makes it RPG, from my understanding, it's really quirky and weird, but you actually tame monsters and you don't like just become a genocidal maniac that murder them all.
Right.
And it recently just came out. I think it just came out on Switch, and they basically did an interview. Toby Fox and the creator of this game did an interview together, and they were like, after the interview with whatever company hired them to have it, they were having a discussion, and Toby Fox basically convinced him to do a translation and bring it over. So they end up getting a team together and putting it together. And so now we can play this game. I think it's on Switch. I might have to look that up.
Yeah, it's on Switch. I actually thought you were getting trolled for a second because I was looking at an article and it said Moon is coming to Nintendo Switch, and it said Onion right next to it, and I was like, "Oh, is the Onion putting out something like this?" No, it's Onion.
The Onion's
Games.
like, we can't even make fun of politics anymore. It's too crazy. So we're just gonna lean in and start insulting video game stuff because we don't know what to do. Yeah. So, and I know. Well, Nick is still the strangest Undertale run I know of because you did the genocide run, and you've never played the normal run.
I did the genocide run, and then I played the super pacifist run. I got about halfway through, and then something else happened, and I stopped playing. But I was trying to go to full pacifist.
And did you ever play Undertale, Mark?
Yes, I did. I think I might be the reason you guys played it.
Not me. I played it right when it came out, and I lived in Portland at the time, and I wasn't really.
Because I remember
I don't know
Cheryl
why I played
it, and she made me play it. I think I forced you to play it. I can't remember, but I think that's just one of the things that like I was just like, this is a game you. I thought it was to all of you that I made, except for Jeff, of course. He's not gonna.
Actually, I think you made Shannon play it, and then
was it
I
Shannon?
played it because Shannon started it. I think so.
Okay. I remember there being some kind of aggressive me trying to make you play the game, in some way. Not aggressive. Like I was probably like, hey, you should play this. This is a really good game. Not like, Nick, if you don't play this, I'm probably not going to be friends with you anymore. I think it was,
It's probably somewhere in the middle of what you just said. You were like, you're like, here's what I clearly was. Here's what I wasn't. Probably somewhere in the middle.
Okay, fair. But I remember playing it, and I didn't do either one. I just did like the in between of those, and then I think I went back and tried to do it one way, but then I messed it up, and I was like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not gonna keep going.
Well, the thing that's difficult about that game too is doesn't it remember? So like if you do a full genocide run and then you do another full, if you do like 10 full genocide runs or something like that, I think it might be impossible to do a pacifist because the game thinks that you're evil. So like it won't let you do things.
I think that's right. Ways. Yeah. That might be possible. I can't
unless
remember.
you delete the game, you might have to start all like I don't know how you like you just have to erase the game and completely start over if you wanted a full different kind of run.
On a whole new computer. Yeah.
A whole new computer in a different time zone.
Different IP address. Yeah, no, everything.
Yeah. Everything's different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I gotcha.
Well, I would say Undertale was one of the, I did the pure pacifist run, was one of the greatest gaming experiences I've had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was tailored to a lot of the stuff. It's like, favorite RPGs. I was like the hipster, like, oh, you guys should play Earthbound. Like, I was doing Earthbound before it was cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just absolutely loved it. And so I saw this came out, and it's like we already have a huge backlog. But eventually, because I have a feeling where I'm going to close out this backlog, and the PS5, I think is going to be slow releasing because of COVID. I think COVID's going to slow shit down for a while, which releases, which is the second thing I wanted to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I want to come back and play this Moon remix. It seems really quirky.
There's other games I think that would go in front of that for me. There's still other
just comparing it to the Undertale. And if you haven't completed a full pacifist run, you have not actually beaten the game.
I guess I never beat Undertale. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because the first time I played it, right? I played the game, and you play it through, and there's an ending, and I quit playing it. And I didn't realize I never beat the game. And then it was when you had pushed it again, because that's right. Because I think maybe when I played the pacifist run, when I did the full completion was right when Nick did the genocide run, because I was around the same time. But I had already beat the game like a year before when I thought I beat it, and then it turns out I absolutely did not beat it. I was like, I had no idea that it was a soft ending, but not in the way where like. So speaking of which, like I beat Resident Evil 2, and there's the true ending when you beat it with both characters, but the true ending is one extra scene at the end of you killing the final boss. I was like, fuck that. I'm not playing another 9 hours to get this one extra scene.
I did. I did. I don't know why, but I guess I just enjoyed the game enough that I was like, I'll play through it again. It's slightly different.
For the record, I like this one so much more than one. And one of the reasons it was great, so many pouches. Like by the end, I had all the pouches, and I was the fanny pack queen. I had them all. Like, and it was not nearly as frustrating as the first. And it's like that. Like I think I died one time in that game, and that was some random zombie that I came into a room and just.
I died a
a
good handful of times. I can't remember if I played it on hard or not though.
I played normal, but in Nier I've died 10 times. And it's like. I thought I'd be better at Nier than I would, considering a lot of the other games I don't find very difficult. And this, I was like, Nier's kicking my ass. I don't know why I'm so terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think I died at Resident Evil 2 at all.
Really?
Yeah,
nice. Cool, Nick. Yeah.
When
cool,
you,
man.
What? So I thought you were going to play that in October. When did you?
I might not have played that either. I don't think I played that game.
Oh, okay.
You're just fucking with me. I got you. You're real cool, Nick. You're real cool.
You're cool.
Just trying to fit in.
We do need to make a list of games to play through October. I don't know how to go about doing that, but we should. I don't know if we need to find games that have certain hours of time to go through them. Like we have to 10-hour games, 1 10-hour game every week, or we have massive games. I don't know.
Are you thinking October is all horror games?
I would love that.
Everything?
I would love that.
Yeah.
And maybe even horror movies. Maybe if we could each of us all have to watch a horror movie or something every week too.
Well, I already planned on last year for Halloween for October I watched a horror movie every night that I hadn't seen.
Okay.
So I watched 30, 30
Nick and I can watch one a week. And you can watch 7, and we'll
Nick
talk about the one.
watches a lot as it is anyway.
Okay.
But,
I do. I haven't been watching movies lately, but I used to watch a lot.
I mean, I watched a horror movie last night, so.
Okay. I saw.
Yeah.
I did not. Did you guys see? God, we're way off track. I was going to ask about. The
other game thing I wanted to ask, because I was relating it to there's going to be this weird gap, right? Because we're going to have the backlog will finish up. Yeah. There's this weird window that who knows if I still think the PS5 is going to be released, but if it's supposed to release in 2 months, and they still haven't told us the price, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. Did you go into so PlayStation themselves offered up direct pre-orders through PlayStation, but you have to go to their website and give them your PSN handle to get access to even.
I don't have a
it.
price on the console. I'm not even thinking about it yet. I don't know.
Sign up for it, because if you don't want to do it, if you win, I'll pay for it. I will buy it. Just do it for me. Do it for me, Mark.
Okay. So you want me to give me the instructions in Discord?
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
So there's gonna be a gap, right? Because we got Cyberpunk, and then that's kind of the last gen of systems, and then everything's for next gen. But I have a feeling there's gonna be this weird window where there's not going to be a lot of stuff coming out that we're going to want to really play. But speaking of that, the Lego game, the Lego Star Wars.
I'm not. I don't. Are you guys excited about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Super. I mean, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd as it is, and I love the Lego games. I am. Just go check out the trailer for this.
I think I saw the trailer for it. I don't know. I've never been super into Lego games. I mean, they're fun. I know they're fun, but I've never looked at it and be like, oh, this is like Nier. I looked at it and I'm like, this is kind of like a little fun little thing to fuck around with. And it was never a game that I was like, I'm excited
for. It's
for.
Nier's an amazing steak, and then Lego is like having a fine soup. You're really great. I love it, but I'm not gonna tell you it's.
But there's so many steaks I still need to eat that I don't care about the soup. Is the thing, right?
Sometimes you can do both, Mark.
Okay.
Have you ever had a nice steak where you dip it into a nice tomato soup?
But they both cost. They take the most out of. I still have limited amount of time, and they both cost time.
So, but Lego was supposed to be released right about now, the Skywalker Saga, and then it kind of got pushed to the end of the year. But now it's not coming out till spring, which is their amorphous March to April.
I have the rest of my life to worry about it then, so I'm not worried about it.
Yes. So, okay, so you're not excited. Nick, on a scale of 1 to Skywalker crazy, where are you at?
I mean, if you were to look at my PlayStation trophies, it would look like I am a hardcore Lego fan. Mm-hmm. I have something like, I don't know, 8 platinum trophies, and I think 6 of them are Lego games.
Are there any Lego games you're like, yeah, I just can't? You're like Ninjago, I'm out. I'm not.
So I did platinum the Lego Movie Lego game, and I didn't like that at all. But I just played it.
I hated this game, but I just platinumed it anyways. I just wanted to do it.
I
really
legitimately never hate platinumed any game in my life.
That should be a new term. I hate platinum.
Hate platinum. Oh, I hate platinum, that one.
The Lego has good like the Lord of the Rings game. Lego game is a lot of fun. And the Marvel one, the first Marvel one, is a lot of fun. Same thing with I think the second Batman one's pretty good too.
I think I'm just craving more original story stuff, and it's all references, and for some reason it doesn't seem as appealing if the whole game is references. Maybe I'm just
they're not good stories.
This will all come back to Last of Us.
Okay,
that's what dropped me in, was original storytelling that was really in. But now I've kind of gotten in a Nier satisfying that too. There's so much original storytelling I've gone through in the last 3 to 4 months that now I'm ready for little side fun quest, little one thing I like about the Lego writing, they're so smart about the references and the jokes that they tell, that everyone writing all of the stories absolutely are fans of the properties that they're telling the game in, because you can tell all the jokes are almost winking inside jokes of oh, if you love Lord of the Rings as much as we do, you're gonna get why these are funny. And it's pretty good.
They're not just over obvious winks. They're
no, because they're even making fun of it in a way that's we can only make fun of it in this way because we love it, not because we're actually making fun of the property itself.
Right.
The obsession with Star Wars kind of helps.
And that was the original Lego game, and I played the original Star Wars Lego game. Oh my god, 2004, 2005. So
I think that's one of the only ones I played.
Yeah.
And I was playing it because it was really good with co-op, I think. And I didn't play it too much outside of that because I just...
What if they had Lego Final Fantasy?
I don't know how I would... yeah, sure. Okay, maybe. They already have Final Fantasy 15 mobile.
Is it basically a Final Fantasy Lego game?
Maybe, if I would have to imagine it, yeah. I hate mobile graphic games. I hate the really simple. They did that to a lot of the old Final Fantasy games. They put them in mobile 3D graphics, and I can't stand it. I hate it. I miss the pixel art, and I every time I see that graphic, I feel sick. So
do they take the pixeling and then kind of chibi it in a way?
It's a very boring mobile 3D model. I don't know how to explain it other than that. It doesn't look like pixels. It just looks like a...
What was the Final Fantasy game that came out 3 to 4 years ago? It was essentially Final Fantasy character, the whole gambit of all of them together in a kind of a weird RPG where they were all chibi characters.
Oh, World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Did you play that?
I did. It was good. I didn't play through all of it. I played through a little bit of it. It was something I got for Cheryl to play, and she played through some of it, and she enjoyed it too. I think that one, if I was going to make a Lego Star Wars version, a Lego Final Fantasy, I guess that would be not too hard. It'd be chibi Final Fantasy, but that would be...
so I actually own that game.
You should try playing it. I think it was... story, I can't remember. There was some stuff to it that I was I could do without, but I remember it not being a horrible game.
Oh, okay. I remember, it was one of those, I just kind of wait. There's certain games you're mildly interested in, and then you're well, this game's on sale for $13. And you're yeah, all right, I'll buy it. And then just put it in the backlog, and maybe I'll get to it. Maybe I won't. Or maybe I'll give it away as a gift. Someone's oh, I've been wanting to play this forever. Oh, well, here. Happy day.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to play a Final Fantasy mobile, I'll play Omni Opera again. I was the only one who played that game, and nobody wanted to touch it.
It's still out there, man.
Yeah, man.
I've never played it or touched it. I've just seen it, and I don't have interest. I can't. I haven't played a game on my phone in forever.
Yeah,
I play one, and when I don't play it, I'll never play again. I just can't. Well, one, the game I the microtransaction-y hell that is a lot of mobile games. Like the design of most mobile games are just designed to be terrible because it's like weird time sinks, and they kind of always want to test your patience to purposely have you give them money. And you're like, this is a game. This is an economic model that's masquerading as a game, as opposed to the inverse of that, where it's like, we'll make this great game, and hey, maybe buy it. We want to like, maybe buy it from us, instead of the inverse, where the entire game is designed around an economic model.
Yeah, I hate it.
And they become
That's one of the reasons why I started to play Omni Opera, is because it was one of those free-to-play games that didn't run the economic model, but it's more grindy than like a normal mobile game. But that makes up for it. And if you want it to go faster, you could choose it to go faster, but you don't have to.
Well, and I saw recently, I think, because what's the game? Because Omni Opera, but it's like what, Dissidia? It's not the actual name of it. Dissidia.
Yeah.
Dissidia. That's the fighting game.
Dissidia. Okay.
Yeah, that's not the that's if you're talking about the fighting game they have. Yeah, that's Dissidia. It's like the Smash Brothers but for Final Fantasy.
Because I know the big thing with I just got an ad for it. Here's when I saw it. Is the Final Fantasy Tactics. All of those characters were coming into it, so that's like their next wave. That was all excitement, and I'm like, and I love Tactics. Oh man,
the game it works really well in Japan, I think, but there's a lot of issues with latency, I think, or at least I remember there being. I don't know if it still is. I've never played a Dissidia game. I do know there's people who enjoyed it. I heard people have valid complaints about it, but it never really picked up. Because Final Fantasy has never really been able to get PvP down very well in a lot of their games, which sucks because it would be cool to have some. I don't understand why they don't make a mobile triple triad game. It just, simple things like that would do really well, but they don't put the resources into it.
Hold up, what do you mean by mobile triple triad?
What's the triple triad?
Have you never played Triple Triad? It's the card game from 8 and 9. There's two different versions of it. Yeah, there's Tetramaster.
Like 9.
Yeah, Tetramaster is I think what it's called, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But they have those card games, and I think if they made just a mobile game that was like a little card game like that, they would probably do pretty well with it. But it's such a simple game. Maybe it doesn't have enough depth to it to make it into a competitive
Add in
game.
expansions and throw cash on those packs.
Yeah.
Now you've got depth and complexity.
But I know people who will play those games just for that card game because they really enjoy it.
Yeah. It's
like Gwent from Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Like they ended up having a whole spin-off because people would just play Gwent. And that game that's fine.
I remember you talking to me about it before, and you're like, nah, you were really excited for it, then you were just like, no.
Yeah, I played it for like 3 hours, and I'm like, I got it out of my system. I was super excited to play the actual, because I played Gwent, in Witcher 3, but
yeah,
I was like, yeah. I mean, I love card games, so even now, if you told me a new card game's coming tomorrow, I'll get excited because I love the idea of a card game. In the end, I'm like, just hard to please, I guess.
It
sucks.
Yeah, I would say Brian Hard to Please Orpheon is that'd make a good name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Classic Orpheon, hard to please.
All right, so by the way, on another note, Scout, our golden pup, is getting older, and so we took him in for getting arthritis checkups and stuff, and make sure all his bones and everything was doing well, like so if he needs any kind of therapy. And they did find some mild forms of arthritis, so we're just doing little exercises with him. And we found out he weighs 90 pounds now, which is pretty large. Yeah, pretty big for his size. And so
how big was Frosty? When Frosty
was like, he got up to in his 80s, I think. Was the highest he got. It's funny because they always weighed close to the same. Just Frosty had a rump body, so it didn't really work out well.
Yeah, Frosty was always built like a fullback.
Yeah. It was like, exactly. Yeah. And so Scout, we are now doing special exercises, so I can't really skip out on his walks and stuff. So I was bringing that up because I'm going to have to take him for a walk and do some special little exercises with him soon. And I didn't want you guys to feel like I was skipping out on you. or trying to rush you or anything.
No,
But, yeah.
Well, I wish you
should
would have told
probably
us
go
like
anyway.
before it started, because then we'd know. But now it sounds like you're using it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, guys, forgot to tell you. Yep, old grandma's
we
dying. Gotta go say goodbye.
She's on fire right now. She only has a little bit of
Yep.
time left.
And I'm the only one.
Yeah, no, but I got to make sure that I stay dedicated to getting those.
No,
exercises. Yeah, and the other thing is, if you want it, we could start earlier too. If you guys feel like we could do 3 hours instead of 2 hours, or have the opportunity to do 3 hours, but I don't know if you guys would want to start earlier.
I'd fight starting earlier.
6? Because we could do that. We could just start at 6.
While quarantine is here, everything is much easier to just slot it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it makes
I don't think it's going away.
I may
For the
be
next 3
eating
months.
when we do it. Like I might have Cheryl might bring me food or something during the middle of the show, but I'm more than willing to do it. I don't think people care. People don't care if I eat on camera.
People might not care, but hard to please Orpheon might.
Brian, hard to please Orpheon. No, I think that could be a good idea too, because then we don't have to go for 3 hours. If we're like, man, I have nothing else to say. My mind's dead after like an hour or two. We just stop. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a set time. Just I know that doing it this way kind of cuts us off a little bit more if we want it more time, because I have to wake up and I have to be working by 7. So I usually have to wake up by at least 6, and so I'm trying to be good.
Well, let's start at 6 then.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Cool. And our goal.
Yeah.
Sorry. We should have talked about this throughout off the show and everything too.
No, I like this. This is you get to see how the sausage is made.
Yeah, the sausage. Yeah, we're making a really good sausage here. And then, so our goal is Nier. And then, did you guys have anything? Brian, you did say. Did you have anything else that was really pressing? Because you sounded like you had a whole bunch of things that you wanted to go over real quick earlier.
No, I kind of
okay.
Other stuff. It doesn't really matter. Just general stuff.
Okay. The other thing I was going to say is is there another game you guys have lined up past Nier yet?
99 games on backlog.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to look at my backlog.
The vault of games. Okay. If you guys start on a new game, just let me know. I don't think that I'll get past. I may do more than Nier, but I mean, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday are probably going to be completely dedicated to prepping and doing Mog Talk.
Yeah.
Because it's just a really large show. And so Sunday and Monday and until the rest to the next show, I mean, there's only a little handful of things I'll have to do for the next Mog Talk, because Mog Talk will be down to like 2 to 3 hours at most per weekend. And take a little bit less planning. So I could probably get Nier out of the way. I just don't know if I'll be able to start another game. But I was just curious if you guys had anything in mind, so I could put it in my mind or in my little Steam basket, my wish list or something.
Oh, speaking of that, look up. So I think it started today, but PlayStation is doing this huge sale for, I forget what they're calling it. It's like the PlayStation Essentials. And it's sort of their kind of like final run of the essential PlayStation 4 games you should have played.
It's like Spider-Man.
Like the Spider-Man.
Okay.
Game of the Year edition, which comes with all the things you want to play.
Okay.
But I think they're doing really big discounts for a lot of stuff. And I have a feeling our entire backlog, if you don't own it, is probably going to be on there.
Okay.
So if you wanted a digital run of it. So
yeah, I do want to play Persona 5. I'm sure that's going to be.
I need to get it too, because it's another one of those games. Like, I feel like I've treated it almost like Nier, where I was like, I'm not really interested in it. But like, it has so much praise behind it that I'm probably just being a hipster and missing out on a good game.
So I played the first 2 hours. But it was like work screwed it up. So I played it for 2 hours and then I left for work, work trip, and was gone like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome. Like that first 2 hours was like kind of brilliant. You're like, oh, now I see why everyone is like froths at the mouth of Persona 5. And you're like, oh, I get it.
And there's
all makes sense.
A whole crazy extra backlog that we could have from the series of Persona and the other games that are related to Persona.
Yeah, there's
a lot of like other games. One of my good friends that'll be on my show Saturday, Sly. He's played all what is it called? Tencha Mencha. I don't. Man, it's something.
Anything you say, I have to believe, right?
Yeah, it's. I can't remember what the name is, but it's a whole heaven and hell thing. The whole thing is like angels bad, demons good kind of series that is part of it. Yeah, Shin Mega Tensei. I don't know. Megami Tensei. I think I said that right. Maybe not. SMT is what it's abbreviated to. Okay. Thank you, Baptiste. But it's I think it's part of the whole Persona universe in some weird way or something, if I remember right. I don't know. But if you really enjoy Persona 5, there's a lot that could be dug into after playing Persona 5. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just casually looking at their timelines of the Persona series, there's like 18 games.
Yeah, are we done talking about Nier?
For this week, I mean, unless if there's something else you want to say about Nier. I mean, we don't have a structure. Oh. Oh, okay.
It's a good week.
All right.
For
those listening that might be listening to this on audio only, Nick just changed his background from a Nier 2B booty to a office background with maybe they're coding or something.
Phil,
generic.
That's generic as hell.
I'm trying to see what the guy looks.
It's maybe something with architecture. I don't know.
Hard to tell, but essentially generic office.
That's Boyd. He's our manager.
Okay. How long is this clip? How long does the rotation go on?
Not a clue.
Okay. I don't know. There's another.
Oh, there we go.
It reset. Okay.
Maybe a minute. Maybe a minute. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he also took off his glasses, so he's like off work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that reference, but I get it now. I didn't know the Nier discussion was like the work part, and you take off your glasses, and then it's like done.
Oof.
It really makes sense because I'm like now in an office, so I'm not.
Yeah, really it's kind of weird. Maybe work is your hobby. I don't know.
I got it. Yes. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice. It looks a little dusty there.
So for next week, Mark, you're gonna have a post Mog Talk. You're gonna be all prepped and go. Are you gonna have a nice, crazy background? Are you two gonna be in an office?
No, it is gonna be a green screen. But I'm not gonna have a crazy background. I'll just kind of exist. You know, funny enough, and it's funny. Anyone listening to this right now is gonna. It's not really a surprise. I just haven't really talked about it too much. But I have changed the layout of the show a decent bit, and like it. For some reason, I keep getting this vision and inspiration. I can't do it, but I want to get something that is in the same realm of somehow, some way of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Okay.
Or he has like his desk there, and then he has like the TV that comes down with the guest on it and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't really do that. I can't do that, but I will.
Why can't you do that?
Because I can't be a cartoon for one.
No. You could have someone set the animation.
Yeah.
Just set the animation for you, and then you can place them in the little boxes.
I could do
someone to go make it for you, but
if I spent a lot of money on it, I could probably make something close to it. But I would love to do it. But I usually just like we have right now, where we're just 3 different boxes. That's how I do the setup. But this time I'm doing like I'm in the background, and the background exists everything, and there's boxes up there of the guest and everything. So it kind of puts this weird layer of host and guest instead of everyone is just on there talking. Which is what I
really want you to do, the Space Ghost thing. I would love that. So
I would love to as well. There's no I could do something.
You to wear like a suit. You'd have to put a little suit.
I got him. I got him. I would love to. But I don't know if I would want to do a suit. Maybe not a suit, but
you have to look like a host. You just can't do it like you're like, just changing your oil on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, it's funny. There's a handful of different podcasts that was for Final Fantasy 14, and I was always the who's that popular interview guy that brings people on. He's older. He has the glasses.
Howard Stern?
No, that's not.
No.
I'm the opposite of him. God, what? Why
Maury.
What did you say, Maury?
Maury. All he does is do animals
Maury
like Who's Your Father right now. Yeah. Not on the same page. Okay.
No.
Wait,
Larry
so what
King?
Interviewer?
Is that
Larry King.
Yeah.
Larry King.
Closer.
Is it Larry King or just your run-of-the-mill hobgoblin?
Yeah, I don't know. More of like the NPR kind of version versus like the jock radio stuff. Like I was always more on that side. And it would be because when I started out the show, it wasn't really that wasn't the thing where I was the host that was talking to guests. It was always like me trying to build something and maybe bring people on, maybe have people who are co-hosts and everything else. Like we're a static group of people coming onto the show, but Mog Talk has turned into really I'm the host bringing on different people every single week, and that's the point of the show. And so I'm trying to structure it more to fit that kind of feel. And I think that's the new layout I'm doing. But I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not good at anything I'm doing. I've just developed some ability to do things, like make little shitty videos in Adobe Premiere and make layouts in Photoshop. What does this do? Oh, this option looks, all right, that looks neat. Can I change it? Oh, it looks a little bit different. I just kind of play around with the settings, and that's my skill of Photoshop. And so I can't do the full Space Coast coast to coast thing because I'm not good enough graphic design. But if I had someone who was able to do it, I do have. I only have so much more time now. I need to go get my dog. But
if someone had the whole setup for you perfectly to do the Space Coast thing, except their caveat was you have to wear an actual like Mog costume.
No, because that would take away the seriousness completely.
No, but that would be, you have to be the Mog, and then you get to be completely deadpan serious the whole time.
I don't know if I can get this on the screen, but I have
because I'm not gonna lie, I want to see this, Mark. Like
okay.
I'm willing to like put money up.
I'm not gonna wear a Mog costume.
Well, then I'm out of the band.
Okay,
I'm out of the band.
But being like a host, more professional than maybe. But I do have this thing that I want to like get programmed in there so it works with the scenes better, where I can press the button and it does different things with the scenes and different animations and everything. I just haven't been able to actually do it yet.
Well, you got someone in the room who's willing to work for free. I just heard him throw in his resume.
Yeah, he will work for as many fucking cat treats and toy playtime.
You give me 2 hours of pets, and I'll make you the greatest animation you've ever seen.
He doesn't want pets. He doesn't want fucking pets. He wants his fucking special cat food treats and shit, and he wants to like have play for 30 seconds and then be done. That's all he wants. Little asshole.
That sounds great. A lot of times they're like, I want to play for 4 hours. And you're like, I don't have 4 hours. Okay.
And
never satisfied.
He'll come and sleep on top of us at night and like try to suffocate Cheryl in our sleep. And it's just, come on, cat.
Classic cat move.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, no, I guess you were just asking about Mog Talk, and that's why I went into it. I do have a lot of stuff that I'm changing up and working to completely redo the layout. And I've redone the logo. I had someone do the logo recently. And I can send you some of this stuff too, because you guys I don't care. It's not like you're going to tell anybody. I can send you some of the stuff that I have for the show that I've been working on, so you can see it.
I like that.
And then
just put it in chat.
Yeah, I did have some people commission art, or I commissioned some art for it too, and I was thinking about doing that for this show too. I had this envision of someone doing a commission of the logo with us three buried in lots of game boxes, sitting and talking to each other. And I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think that's really. I'd like to see that even if you didn't use it for an asset for the show.
Yeah. I'll see. I'll probably find someone to do that, because I think that was just an idea that came to me. I thought it'd be really good. especially if we're going with friends with Backlog. So works well. So enjoy your trip to Egypt. Let me know how it does, how you do over there, and it's working out. I'm gonna go walk my pup, give him some physical therapy, and then I guess Nier is my solo fun time game that I'll be playing, and I look forward to. I think actually, funny enough, if I tell everyone we're going to be talking about Nier, they might just come and watch to hear us talk about Nier. It will be a lot of crossover from Mog Talk because of that.
That'll be good because that means there's like a lot more people who probably understand the game a lot probably better, you know. And then I get to say a bunch of stupid shit, and then they can just argue with it, and I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, you know, I'm like. That sounds wonderful, actually.
Yeah, no, we'll make the next show the Nier show, and I'll do my best to get through all the endings that are at least relevant, and then I might even watch Mr. Klimp's videos just to see a little bit more in-depth stuff. If I think I'll have the time. I mean, giving me Monday off will give me plenty of time. So, I mean,
I have a 4-day.
Saturday's gone.
I have a 4-day weekend, so I guarantee I will be able to
play the hell out of
it. At least
maybe not platinum it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll try.
I would love for you to ask your community. I now am curious. I want to know anyone who's hate platinum. Like, I want to find out what games people have hate platinum. Is that a good,
yeah? We'll use that. What games? I don't think anyone except for Nick hate Platinum's games. I don't imagine anyone who would hate the game so much.
Platinum, people with platinum addictions.
Okay.
Because you can see them sometimes.
Like Nick.
I don't have platinum. I don't have many platinums, but I have hate platinum.
I don't always platinum, but when I do, it's probably a Lego game.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go walk my pup. Let me go ahead and say the closing bit so we can end the stream. Thank you guys all for watching. Whoever watched this either on YouTube or on Twitch or listening to this on whatever service you're listening to for audio only. I hope you enjoy listening to us being idiots and talking like we know about anything with video games for 2 hours. And we'll be back next week, and it will be our dedicated. I mean, not completely. We'll probably jump off the rails a few times, but it'll be again focused on Nier. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk to you about it in full, all spoilers and everything. But it's been out long enough that I don't think anybody cares. So,
came out 2017. So
yeah. All right, everybody, say bye. Say bye, guys. Bye.